think about how we arrive in the world, how we cross the threshold, how we all begin. Quiet, calm, careful? Hell no! We enter wailing, screaming, fighting, amidst the clamor and fury, toward the light and sound. It's not about peace and praise. It's in the push and strain, the fray and scuffle. The all-out, obsessive, unceasing, relentless, ruthless, dogged, infinite, wondrous conflict between who we are and what we might be.
Welcome to Tampa. Slightly mild, but extremely wild inside Raymond James Stadium for this college football playoff national championship presented by AT&T. And tonight's rematch of last year's classic between, again, the top two teams. Number one, undefeated Alabama, 14-0. And number two, Clemson. Both teams dispatching their semifinal opponents in dominant fashion to earn their way back to Tampa in this rematch for the championship. Hard to argue these are the two best football teams. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder, and Tom Rinaldi will join us. Can the sequel equal last year's classics? The ingredients are certainly there. Plenty of subplots and also some fresh faces on both sides.
Yeah, this is the game that I think a lot of people thought in August we had a chance to see. Clemson with Deshaun Watson coming back with a lot of good playmakers around him. And, of course, Alabama with Nick Saban, who seemed to always have a shot to get here. So when we left that stadium last year in Glendale, we kind of wanted that fifth quarter. Well, we're about to get another ball game here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bama trying for a fifth title in 8 years. Clemson trying to climb to the mountaintop for the first time in 35 years. One of the new wrinkles, Lane Kiffin, who called the plays very successfully for the last 3 seasons, watching tonight in Boca Raton, where he'll take over as FAU's head coach. Saban parting ways with Kiffin, bringing in Steve Sarkisian, who was going to call plays next season. But now Kirk, with a week to prepare, this veteran coach is going to guide this offense. Hasn't done it in a couple of years, call plays.
Yeah, unprecedented to see him in this situation, how he handles it. It's one thing for the 8 or 9 days building up to it, but tonight, when there's peaks and valleys emotionally, how does he handle his young freshman quarterback, Jalen Hurts, who isn't coming off his best game? In fact, the entire offense struggled against Washington. So you're going to see them try to do some things that can settle the quarterback in. The biggest thing is get his playmakers on the outside involved early with some quick passes. Calvin Ridley here, or Darius Stewart, number 13. They've got to be able to get him the football. The other thing is be decisive in the quarterback run game. At times last week, Chris, he was sluggish and slow and deliberate. Tonight, he's got to be decisive, make quick decisions, and his best running is on the outside on the perimeter. And what's great compliment to that outside running game is Bo Scarborough in the middle. The physicality, what he was able to do last week against Washington, over 100 yards after contact. He'll have to be able to do that to take some of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. But to me, this defense that this offense is trying to go up against was Sarkisian, most aggressive, most attacking defense that maybe they've seen all year. So it's a tough challenge.
The expressions in Bulwer and Wilkins' face say it all. The theme tonight was gimme shelter. Which quarterback's going to be yelling gimme shelter? Because these two defenses combined have 99 sacks. Deshaun Watson, we're used to seeing his calm and his composure in these big game situations. Against the Tide last year, he shredded Saban's defense. Threw for 405, ran for 73, was brilliant in defeat. Came back motivated, trying to top that performance all year. At times he pressed, but again, against Ohio State, Kirk, he rose to the occasion, running and throwing in big moments.
Well, this is what we really want to see, is Deshaun Watson with an opportunity to go against Nick Saban's defense. He can do so many things with the football. The most important tonight, in my opinion, will be his accuracy. This is last year against Bama. And the reason he threw for over 400 yards is because of throws like this. Pretty good coverage there by Bama, but look at the placement on the football. Can he do that tonight again and find that zone? This is the other aspect that drove Alabama crazy, his ability to improvise. Receivers covered downfield, pulls it down, nobody there to be able to take him away, and he's able to extend the drive and drive Nick Saban absolutely crazy. Now, Nick Saban's had all this time to get his defense ready for those two aspects of the Clemson offense, and Deshaun Watson. You heard him last year after he got done playing him. That guy, other than Cam Newton, is maybe the best quarterback we've ever gone against. Is he better equipped this year to defend him?
Reed Sewell got quicker on defense to deal with those run-pass option plays that Clemson is so good at. Jonathan Allen, the sack leader. Reuben Foster, the linebacker, is the tackle leader. Very hard to run the ball against the Crimson Tide. 62 per game, 2 yards per carry. No rushing touchdowns allowed the last 7 games. And this is the startling stat, 11 defensive touchdowns. They've only allowed 15. They take it away, and they take it to the house.
The numbers are startling, but as you said, you made a great point. We'll be talking about it a lot tonight. The reason they're different and they feel better about the challenge is the front four. They feel they can get pressure on the athletic Deshaun Watson and get them without having to blitz. If they can do that, if they can get to him and affect him, they don't have to sack him, just affect his rhythm with their front four, it could be a big night for the Bama defense.
It's historic. Whatever happens here tonight, there hasn't been a rematch in a championship game since this era began. Go back in 1998 with the BCS. They've been pointing at each other for a long time. Of course, the trophy is at stake for the champion here tonight. Bama trying to do something incredible. 5 in 8 years, and again, Clemson the first since '81. You can feel the intensity on both sides. Here is Ben Bulwer, the linebacker and emotional leader of Clemson's defense.
I bring it in tight. Yo! Hey, the sand's running out, man. The sand's running out. I got one more time. Hey, y'all best believe I'm going to exhaust this moment. I want y'all to have my back. I'm going to leave it all on the field for y'all, all right? I'm going to leave it all on the field. Hey, play for your brother, all right? Play for Clemson. Play for this ball. Play for the guys who came before you. Hey, play for Stephon X, for Dwight Boyd, for Newt, for all the boys that laid the foundation. They laid the foundation.
The motivations and the emotions are very powerful. We hope they get you ready. The Nissan pregame rush from Tampa is coming up next, but first a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame rush. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy and the College Football Playoff.
3-year history of the playoff championship game. This is the first outdoor game. Beautiful weather, temperatures in the high 50s. I want to say it's about a 60-40 Clemson edge.
That shot right there almost looks like Death Valley.
There's red on the other side. Kirk, tonight's Planning for Success brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Well, let's start with Clemson. We talked in the open, Deshaun Watson's decision-making and accuracy. If he's on point, it'll be tough for Bama to slow him down. Make Jalen Hurts throw tonight to have to win the football game. And on the Bama side, Steve Sarkisian takes over. Needs to be able to find his rhythm with his young quarterback, Jalen Hurts, early with some quick passes and quarterback run game. And can they harass and affect Deshaun Watson to try to keep him out of the rhythm that we just talked about?
Sark said, simplify it. Allow Hurts to play faster. He's just 18 years, 5 months old. Clemson Tigers counting on Deshaun Watson, number 4 there, who has been impeccable in the 5 previous postseason games he's played in his brilliant career. Walks out as the winner of 31 games as a starting quarterback against 3 losses. There's his center, Jay Guillermo. Bulwer, you heard from him earlier. Tigers, as they were last year, about a touchdown underdog, but they thrive in that role. Big, bad Bama. Win streak at 26. Always supremely confident. Those defenders, perhaps, Kirk, a little less business-like than we've seen in the past. They are keyed up to get after Deshaun Watson. Higher seed wears the home uniform, so a switch in uniforms from last year's Classic when Clemson wore the all-orange as the #1 seed. Defensive leader Reuben Foster. Here's big Jonathan Allen, one of the most decorated defensive players in the country. Cam Robinson, number 74, their stalwart left tackle, one of the captains as well. Here come the Tigers. Is this the team that could beat Alabama? Dabo Swinney told me he thinks Clemson is the only team that can dethrone the Crimson Tide, and he felt very comfortable about his chances tonight. This has been the Nissan Pre-Game Rush, and now to public address announcer John Magrino.
Tonight, as we pay tribute to our nation, we celebrate the 30th anniversary of the U.S. Special Operations Command. Please welcome General Tony Thomas and Command Sergeant Major Patrick McCauley. And now, please rise and remove your hats as our nation's colors are presented by the 6th Air Mobility Wing Honor Guard, MacDill Air Force Base. Here to perform our national anthem, accompanied by Challenger the Eagle and a flyover from the 1st Special Operations Wing, Hurlburt Field, Florida, please welcome Capitol Records Nashville recording artists, Little Big Town.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, Little Big Town. The 6th Air Mobility Wing Honor Guard, MacDill Air Force Base, Challenger the Eagle, the 1st Special Operations Wing, Hurlburt Field, and our distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to midfield for the National Championship Game coin toss with inductees of the 2017 National Football Foundation College Football Hall of Fame. Representing the University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning. And representing Duke, Florida, and South Carolina, Coach Steve Spurrier. Tonight's referee, Mike DeFee. Honorary captains for Clemson, Taj Boyd. And for Alabama, Derek Henry. And team captains for Clemson and team captains for Alabama.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations and welcome to the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship. Back-to-back appearances by both teams, extremely impressive. My name's Mike DeFee. I'm your referee today from the Big 12 Conference. This is Robert Richardson. He's your umpire. Here's our coin tonight. This is heads, and this is tails. Clemson, you've been designated to call the toss tonight. What's your call? Heads. Heads is his call. It is heads. You want to call. You want to defer. You want the football. Which end do you want to kick from? You want to kick it this way? You put your back to that goal. Your back to this goal. Clemson will call the third direction of the second half. Alabama will receive.
So Clemson wins the toss and defers. Alabama will get the football to begin this championship game rematch. Alabama graduate, former national champion wide receiver and special teamer Dabo Swinney tries to beat his old school tonight. Samantha?
Well, Coach, you've talked about how big of a challenge Bama's front seven is. So what's the biggest indicator to you that your offensive line can be successful against them tonight?
Well, our past success. I mean, you know, we're 27-1 in our last 28. They're 28-1 or whatever. You know, we've played a lot of big teams, a lot of great teams. So we practice against good players. They're a great front. We got a great front. It's going to be a few plays, a few inches.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Coach. Tom Rinaldi, take it away.
Sam, thank you very much. Nick, a true freshman quarterback and a new offensive coordinator. What do you need to see from them to have success tonight?
Look, we have a good plan. We practiced it all week. It's time to go execute it. And it doesn't matter about all that because we've had a good week of work, and I think we're ready to go.
Appreciate the time. Go get it.
All right, thanks.
Chris?
All right, Tom, thank you. There's Sarkisian trying to exude calm in what must be an anxious moment and his 18-year-old quarterback. This is electric. A lot of fun. A fitting climax for this football season. The two best teams have muscled their way to Tampa. And someone's going to be kissing that trophy within the next 4 hours. Hugel to kick it away. Eric Dieter or Darius Stewart deep for the tie. It's a short kick. And Stewart from the 12. Cannot escape. Dropped at the 25. And now we will see Jalen Hurts. He becomes just the second true freshman to win a national title. Big, strong guy. Dual threat. Extremely calm.
Yeah, you can see it, 6'2", 209 pounds. He is thick, and he'll run the football tonight. When he does run the ball, he's like a tailback. They'll try to get him involved in the running game, more than likely out on the edges, where again, he complements the more physical Bo Scarborough between the tackles.
A year ago, he was the scout team quarterback simulating Deshaun Watson.
Remember, they've got to get Darius Stewart and Calvin Ridley involved early with some quick throws.
It's a pass batted down on the very first play as Christian Wilkins got into that throwing lane.
See, the thing is, Brent Venables knows that they have a true freshman quarterback, and you talk to anybody, what are you going to do with a young quarterback in this kind of atmosphere? quick throws, try to get him to settle in. Brent Venables knows that. He's got his defensive lineman ready, aware. Wilkins goes up, knocks it down the quick throw.
Clemson defensive line so good at getting the hands up, deflecting passes tonight. There's a second down handoff to Bo Scarborough, the young back who ran right through Washington. But Clelin Ferrell, who ate the Buckeyes alive in the semifinal, makes the stop.
Ferrell is just picking up, as you said, where he left off against Ohio State. A lot of pressure, and they would attack this offensive line and this young quarterback until they prove that they can make him pay for it. They are determined to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball to win the game tonight. So they're loading up at the line of scrimmage.
Not in his comfort zone on 3rd and 11. Quick throw near side. Calvin Ridley collects it in traffic. Very little running room as Ryan Carter, the corner, shut him down, and the Tide go 3 and out.
The streak continues for this Alabama offense against ranked opponents. They have struggled on opening drives. This is now the 7th ranked opponent that they've gone up against. They've only had 3 first downs in those situations. In the last 2 games against Florida and Washington, 3 and outs. And now Clemson are 3 and out.
So J.K. Scott, the fine junior punter, is on, trying to boot it deep and prevent Clemson and Artavis Scott from creating good field position for Deshaun's first possession. He drives Scott back to the 20. Bama coverage team swarms down there, and Artavis can't get away. So from the 22, here comes Deshaun Watson. He's a junior, but this should be the final game of his college career. At times, Kirk, he's put a lot of pressure on himself this season. Twice a Heisman finalist, runner-up in the game a year ago. Did he find that calm, almost flawless performance that he had last year?
That's going to be the key. And the pass rush from the defensive line from Alabama. Clemson wants to be able to get Deshaun Watson settled and in that zone with his accuracy and his decision-making with their run-pass options.
Unlike Bama, the Tigers have been very crisp and sharp early in games offensively in recent weeks. This is Wayne Gallman. They feed the workhorse running back, and he gets the edge. Physical runner knocked out at the 33. Good side to get Gallman going early.
Wayne Gallman running with a little bit of an attitude. We know that Bama's coming in with an attitude after what Deshaun Watson did to him last year. But when Clemson gets first downs, that's when you really see the tempo crank up from Watson.
Empty backfield on first down. Watson pressured and sacked. Flooding in there was big Deron Payne, the nose guard.
Payne is able to. This is the matchup, and this is what Clemson has got to be concerned with. Watch the hands and watch the quickness from Payne going right around Taylor Hearn. Remember, Payne is 320-pound defensive lineman. You get caught up with Jonathan Allen and Dalvin Tomlinson and Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson. Payne makes a big play here early.
They have depth, but not as much as last year. You saw Payne being spelled on this 2nd and 14. Watson flips it inside in traffic. A shovel pass to the tight end, Jordan Leggett. A flag is down.
These two defenses are flying around, and Deshaun Watson sitting down on the field still.
Deshaun is a tough guy, and he's gotten stronger since last year to take shots.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 10, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Reuben Foster hit the quarterback, and that's the penalty.
Yeah, remember we talked about how Alabama wants to send a message? Watch 10, Reuben Foster come in here late after the shovel pass right there with a club to the head. I mean, that's why Watson was staying down. They're trying to send a message to Deshaun Watson, and it cost them 15 yards.
Ball moved to midfield. Deshaun's pretty good at shaking off that kind of stuff. Still got the ball, delivers to Scott. Clemson receivers had an excellent night blocking on the edge against the Buckeyes, but is that a tougher chore against Alabama tonight?
Absolutely. Well, these corners do a really good job of getting off their blocks, and their eyes are right now on Deshaun Watson. You know, you hit Deshaun Watson like that, you're obviously trying to send a message to this Clemson offense. But at the same time, this isn't your average quarterback. You know, you're going to press his buttons as well by doing that. And it opens up other aspects with an overly aggressive defense.
On 2nd and 9, this is Gallman stumbling forward and dropped at the 44. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Tigers don't sub, so the Tide can't either on defense. Very efficient on 3rd down.
3rd and 4 with his ability to run gives him the option of both running and passing here, depending on what Alabama shows him.
Tide rush 5, complete. Battling near the marker there as Anthony Averett stopped Big Mike Williams. The spot will be very close to 1st down yardage.
Everett makes a heck of a play. The scouting report says at Clemson in these 3rd and shorts, they're going to go to the quick slant. He breaks on that ball, anticipating the slant, and is able to keep Mike Williams short of the 1st down by about a half a yard.
Averett giving away about 35, 40 pounds in that matchup with the strength. Prevents the 1st down, 4th and very short, and the offense on the field at the 41.
Puts Clemson in a very tough spot. Still in that shotgun against this defensive line, something that they pride themselves in.
Gotta hurry. And the play clock was at 1. They've gone for it now 25 times this season, if in fact they do run a 4th down play. Pretty good success rate.
Yeah. The defensive line's different than all those other attempts.
Excellent point. We'll take a break. Decision for Dabo Swinney. No one's tried to make it on 4th and 1 against Alabama all season long. Need about a half yard from the 41. After a timeout, let's see what he's got cooked up.
Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson, 54 in the middle, over 300 pounds. Deron Payne, who's already made a big play with some penetration at 320 pounds, right in the middle, anchoring that defensive line.
5 receivers, empty backfield. And now Gallman and Leggett motion in. Option. Gallman. Nothing. The Tide rise up, but even though Gallman fights hard, Tony Brown got there first, and the Tide defense forces turnover.
Yeah, and Scott is blocking Fitzpatrick coming into the inside right here, and Brown's able to come to the outside. You also see Evans get a push back into the backfield. I mean, they were ready for this. They anticipated that the ball might go to the outside, and they were prepared and ready to make the play. You see 2 or 3 different Tide players ready to make a play. And how about Tony Brown, after everything he's been through throughout his career, coming up with a big stop?
Tony Brown, better tell him sometimes Gallman doesn't get down on the first hit, though. He was celebrating, and Gallman was still fighting hard.
It didn't wrap up. He just hit him.
So the turnover on downs gives Tide the football for their 2nd possession at the 41. See if Sarkisian can call stuff to get Jalen Hurts settled in. Play action, chased by Wilkins. Excellent runner, takes off, and against man coverage, they just forgot about the quarterback who scoots down to the 35.
Clemson is a man-to-man team, and if you can get to the outside of Wilkins, then you can have room to run. Look at the coverage downfield here and here. Nobody's able to account for the fleet-footed quarterback, and he's got room to run.
After the 20-yard run, Alabama plays with some tempo. Scarborough plows forward for 4. They call that a win on 1st down. If they can get a 4-yard gain or more, that's a win on 1st down, says Saban.
Yep. Steve Sarkisian is right now, as we speak, just kind of settling into this game as his play caller here in his first game with Alabama calling plays.
Play action again, quick penetration. Quarterback knocked down, and 2 flags come in. Cleveland Farrell, who was J.T. Barrett's nightmare last week, got in early.
He got his hands into the face of the quarterback after he threw the ball. You can see the big left tackle, Cam Robinson, didn't appreciate it.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 99. Blow to the head. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic.
So each defense, Kirk, has tried to send a message and taken 15 yards.
Yeah, Farrell's just trying to get his hands up. He obviously bats the ball down, but the right hand, opposite of the hand where he bats the ball down, gets up into the face of Hurts and costs the Tigers 15 yards. And now Alabama all of a sudden deep in Clemson territory.
Ball spotted at the 20. flags come out. There were a couple men in motion when it was snapped, and this is not the CFL.
No, this is part of, remember last week they struggled with some delay of games and a little bit of sloppiness in their execution. The tight end that time, O.J. Howard, wasn't able to get around and get set.
Illegal shift, offense, 2 men moving without resetting. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Nick Saban told us on the sidelines he expects to be supportive and calm, not chew on Sarkisian, such a feature of Lane Kiffin's time on the sideline. We looked at each other and said, we wonder if we believe him. How long will that last if things don't go well?
I think it depends on the game. Quick huddle break here by Bama. They're going fast.
On 1st and 15. Scarborough gets the edge. Bo Scarborough cuts it back, still rumbling all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Bama. "25 yards to cap a 59-yard drive in less than a minute."
Boy, what a great block by O.J. Howard to get him to the edge. Let's see if he extends before he touches to get down. He is in the end zone for a touchdown.
And the running back who replaced the Heisman Trophy winner, Derrick Henry, finds the end zone much as Henry did early in last year's championship game. The AT&T pylon cam giving you a good look. So Adam Griffith, the senior kicker, and the Clemson crowd making their displeasure known. Bama's defense makes the big stand on 4th and 1.
Exactly.
20-yard run by Hurts. The 15-yard penalty on Farrell sets this up.
Watch Howard come around here. O.J. Howard, 88. Big block right there on the edge on the outside linebacker. O'Daniel gets him to the edge. And there's the niftiness from Scarborough. The cutback and the speed by the big fella to get it to the corner in the end zone for the touchdown.
Sarkisian and Saban and company draw first blood in Tampa.
College Football Playoff National Championship is presented by AT&T. Get your entertainment and sports your way from AT&T. And in part by Taco Bell's $1 double stack tacos. Ford, we go further so you can. And the Quicksilver card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back. Every purchase, everywhere.
Now picking Glendale, Jake Coker playing the game of his life. Special teams playing an enormous role with the onside kick, and then the Kenyon Drake kickoff return for a touchdown, and what was the highest scoring championship game since '96. Tie breakout on top, 7-0. Scoring drive set up by a 4th and 1 defensive stop, and the powerful Alabama running game. Only the 4th time Clemson's given up a first quarter touchdown this season, Kirk. They've been an exceptionally strong first quarter team.
Well, that aggressive nature that they play with usually shocks their opponents early. It takes teams a bit to settle into a game. Alabama with that big turn of events when they got the ball back. Now they not only get 7, but their confidence is now established offensively.
Adam Griffith, an excellent kickoff man. This one not as deep as most of his go, and Scott fakes the reverse and takes off. Artavis Scott held up just a bit by Griffith so the cavalry could catch up at the 45, but it's Clemson's turn to make a play on special teams. There's a flag on the far side near where the tackle was made. So we'll check that. They fake the reverse and Scott shows his acceleration.
I don't know if he got a face mask or what it might be, but it was, as you said, Chris, it was really close to where they made the tackle.
Here's Mike DeFee.
Personal foul. Receiving team number 41 hitting a player out of the play. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Uh-oh, boy, that's Grant Radakovich, the son of the athletic director. Dan is on the playoff selection committee, and Dabo Sweeney hates that kind of needless mental error, as most coaches do.
Yeah, all the way here on the left, right here. That's the number that they call. Maybe it happens up here, just towards the end of the play is where, yeah, right here, boom, right there. You saw him come in and clip a guy at the end, unnecessary. And instead of having the ball at their own 40, they go all the way back inside their own 30-yard line. Costly penalty.
Second personal foul on the Tigers already tonight. Scott, jet sweep, strung out, and he's dropped for a loss. And the Tide defense flowing in there. That's the top tackler, Reuben Foster.
Yeah, you get the ball to the outside on this offense. I mean, that's part of who they are, and it's what Alabama's really worked hard to take away from Clemson, because when they get the perimeter running going, along with Deshaun Watson, it sets up their vertical pass game. They're going to have some success throwing downfield to get this Bama defense to back up.
Watson across the middle, and that's Leggett. He's 4 for 4, Kirk, but all very short passes.
Yeah, it's been very conservative here early. Again, it's just part of trying to get him, even though he is a guy who's played a ton of football, he knows this offense as well as the coaches do. It was funny when we were talking with Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott, the co-offensive coordinators. They said he's essentially an offensive coordinator that happens to be playing quarterback. He is brilliant when it comes to this offense and what they put on his shoulders on virtually every play.
Different from day one at being able to process things. On 3rd and 2, delivers a strike. Williams takes a hard hit, but they'll move the 6 to the 43.
There's that quick slant again. 3rd down in kind of 3 to 5, 3 to 6 range. You know it's coming, but Mike Williams, it's 6'3" and 225 pounds. You have to respect the potential of him getting downfield, and so he's able to get into the inside. He got hit in the head there, it looked like, a little bit late. That's why he's slow to get up and had to go off the field.
Gallman cuts it back. This is a very hard-hitting first 7.5 minutes by both defenses.
This is the nickelback again, who's been involved early in this game. Watch him here come in late with a big hit to the head. And that is helmet to helmet from Tony Brown. Lowers the boom on Mike Williams.
He's a guy that was ejected for targeting against Auburn. Tony Brown is a volatile guy, very emotional. Needs to keep under control to be at his best. And one up the middle with a lot of eye candy before this snap that'll set up a 3rd down play.
Well, these Crimson jerseys are flying towards the outside run game. They were all over the outside of Wayne Gallman. They're forcing Deshaun Watson in these situations to have to run the ball, and they're rallying to him. And when he runs the ball, they want to punish Deshaun Watson, give him a number of hits for 4 quarters that could have eventually an effect on him.
Top receiver Mike Williams still out of the game. Bunch formation with Deion Kane to the left. Watson looks back that direction, takes a shot one-on-one. Excellent coverage. Incomplete. Anthony Averett was all over the receiver, and it's 4th down.
Well, Deion Kane is a talented player who's back home in Tampa where he went to high school, but he's not Mike Williams. And that hit from Tony Brown keeps Mike Williams out. That's where normally Mike Williams would be, back into the boundary by himself, isolated, with an ability to go up and make a play. And Deion Kane, as a sophomore, isn't quite to that level. And he and Deshaun Watson not quite on the same page.
Averett, one of the corners, has had to step up. This Tide defense has been hit by a couple of key injuries this season. Eddie Jackson not able to go. You saw him out there as a captain. But Averett has stepped up. And so Andy Teasdall punts it away, and Garrick Dieter, a graduate transfer from Bowling Green, makes the fair catch at the 15. Bama's defense imposing as expected early. Tide with the ball back up 7. Mike Williams looks stunned from the bench. He took a huge shot from Tony Brown in the previous series. We'll show it to you and get Dave Katai on board to figure out if he thinks this should have been a targeting call against Brown. It was not called, of course, Dave.
Yeah, take a look at this hit. You see him hit with the side of the helmet. Remember, the crown is everything above the face mask. The last minute, he turns his face and hits him with the side. This is really close, but he's not defenseless, therefore he's got to hit with the crown.
So you agree with the no targeting call. Williams, a good sign, at least up on his feet, watching to see if the Tiger defense can get a stop. And he feeds Scarborough and breaks the tackle briefly, a short gain.
That is a big storyline to me in this game. It's something we'll keep a close eye on, beyond whether it was a targeting call or not. Last year, he injured in the first game, broke his neck, missed the entire run to this national championship game. Has had a huge year this year. Many people feel the top receiver in the country.
Hurts flips it to Scarborough in the flat, and the big fella rumbles across the 25 before Tankersley stopped him. It'll be 3rd and a yard.
And just to finish the thought there, if you potentially take him out of that lineup, they rely on him so much. So we'll obviously keep you posted. Sam Ponder's down on that Clemson sideline.
I don't see him holding his helmet.
No.
Not a good sign.
No. It's a big third down here.
Tide need a yard. Scarborough hesitated briefly and able to muscle forward. He's 228 pounds, still about 20 pounds lighter than big Derrick Henry, who rumbled through this defense for 158 yards and 3 touchdowns a year ago.
Bo Scarborough is not only physical, Chris, but he can run. 4-5 type of guy. He gets out on the edge, as we saw last week. He can go. We're going to kind of give you an idea of what Steve Sarkisian is dealing with as a play caller tonight.
Two different tight ends come in motion. That's O.J. Howard. Play action. Hurts looks to throw back, and Scarborough slipped. Couldn't get back to the football.
Trying to get the fast-moving Clemson defense out of position with a screen back to Scarborough. There's Steve Sarkisian again, who's called plays in big games at USC and at Washington. He's communicating the play that he wants, and you can see the quarterbacks down at the bottom signaling into Jalen Hurts. He gets the call, and away we go.
And Hurts goes rolling out and delivers a throw incomplete. Ardarius Stewart was backpedaling, couldn't come up with it. He said it's like riding a bike. He hadn't called plays since a Holiday Bowl victory a couple of years ago for SC.
Yeah, back in 14. Now he's going to go to 3rd and 10. He goes right off his play card. He's going to look to see which one that they feel the best about. You can see the urgency. Remember last week there was some hesitation at times on the play call. This week they wanted to be much faster, getting the call in to try to help him evaluate this defense. It's very complex. This is where Clemson mixes up their looks and tries to confuse you.
The quick true freshman back, Josh Jacobs, is in the game behind Hurts. Tigers are showing some pressure. And Jacobs shows the quickness. And Joshua Jacobs still running hard. They move the 6 to the 40. A change of pace from Big Bo.
A great job by the offensive line. The left guard here, Pierce Baker, does a nice job. The center gets up to the next level. Watch the left tackle does a nice job as well. Robinson picks up Ben Boulware. Clemson maybe caught off guard there on 3rd and 10, not expecting an inside zone play, but it opens up and Bama picks up a 1st down.
You get 13 yards. You give that one to the play caller?
Play caller and the offensive line as much as Scarborough.
Hurts. This is a designed run, and the Tigers storm the backfield and stop him right there. Kendall Joseph, the middle backer, got him.
Keep in mind, this Clemson defense nationally has been one of the best all year. They've been physical against the run. They do a very, very good job of pressuring quarterbacks, especially on 3rd down, where they're in the top 5 or 6 in the country on 3rd down defense. One of the best in the country in sacks and tackles for a loss. They need to create negative plays to make Jalen Hurts feel the pressure of this defense.
They blitz. Hurts steps up into the gap, stutter steps, and gets out near the 50. Looks like he was well schooled for those linebacker blitzes.
Yeah, and so was Bo Scarborough, because Bo Scarborough is the man who opened this up and gave him a chance to be able to get out there and have some room to run. He comes all the way over and picks up this blitz coming from Ben Boulware, who's coming right up the middle. Right there, by him recognizing that, it allows Hurts to be able to get underneath of that block and pick up big yards there to set up a 3rd and manageable, which is exactly where Sark and this offense want to be.
Scarborough back in. They fake it to him. Hurts steps up and has the strength to get the 1st down into Clemson territory.
And we came in talking about how much Deshaun Watson, we actually have a holding call. I wondered if they missed it or if they called it. There's got a holding call here by the tight end.
Cam Robinson says, who, me?
No, he's okay. It looked like 84 inches to me, the tight end.
Holding. Offense on the left tackle. Put the runner at the point of attack. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
No, he didn't mention the name. No. But the left tackle is Robinson. You're not buying it.
74 didn't touch anybody, so it couldn't have been him. The left tackle, the tight end up here, who looked like he was playing left tackle because he was in trying to make a block on the quick Farrell. He's the one. You can see Cam Robinson. He puts his arms out right away. I didn't touch anybody.
That just, though, did tackle Farrell. So instead of a 1st down, At the Tigers 49, the Tide backed up to 3rd and 13.
Watch the linebackers from Clemson, usually very active, either disguise pressure or end up right here, and here. These two guys usually are involved in the pass rush.
It's Damian Harris, the sophomore, in a tailback, blocking the blitz. Ball batted in the air, incomplete. So for the second time tonight, the D-line bats a pass down. That time it was Austin Bryant.
Well, if you keep him in the pocket and you time up your leap, obviously he's not necessarily the biggest quarterback at 6'2", and Bryant is 6'4" and has a good wingspan. He knows he can't get in there. It's a great job at timing it up, knocking it down.
It's a deep and young rotation defensive line. A true freshman. We'll talk about Dexter Lawrence, the redshirt freshman, 4 sophomores, a junior, and just 1 senior. Big Carlos Watkins. Incredibly deep and talented group. Scott collects a low punt, and it's partially blocked. The Tigers storm in. The roll will still take the ball inside the 40, but Tanner Muse, the safety, got into Scott, the All-American punter. Excellent extension. The Tide fortunate that the ball rolled into Clemson territory. Just a 25-yard punt could have been much worse for Bama. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. Samantha, what's the latest on the status of the top receiver for the Tigers, Mike Williams?
The latest is good news for the Tigers. Mike Williams given the all clear from the athletic training staff. They asked him a few questions when he came off, but then really didn't receive any medical attention after that, despite the fact he's in some pain. You can see why there. He's taken some huge hits already early in this game, but ended up smiling at the end of that drive. He seems like he's good to go.
It is certainly good news. We'll see if he can become a factor in this game. Tigers take over at the 37 after the partially blocked punt by Muse.
Because I was just about to say, this game is still kind of settling in. But Deshaun Watson in these first few series, even though he's 5 of 6 for 23 yards, conservative in their passing game, doesn't just feel like he's involved in the running game. Like to see him more involved in the running game to make Bama have to appreciate that part of the Clemson offense.
Watson will take his first downfield shot. Looping throw for Kane, and the Tampa native cannot catch up to it. Again, Anthony Averett was in coverage.
Again, missing Mike Williams there on the outside. And don't get me wrong, Deion Kane's a very, very talented player, but not the same as Mike Williams, who now is checked back into the lineup. Again, not only the size difference, but just the connection and the chemistry between Deshaun and Mike Williams back into that boundary where they put him when they're on the left hash, back in there by himself.
Williams, a guy who's made 90 catches this year, 10 touchdown catches, a deadly weapon in the red zone too.
Quick slants had been there on 3rd down so far for Clemson early in this game.
You need 5. Low snap. Watson has to battle for the ball in the scrum. Ryan Anderson's got it for Alabama. No whistle yet. The Tide have a takeaway.
Well, Deshaun Watson went back in for the ball in that scrum, and the ball ended up getting behind him, and Ryan Anderson reached down and just got it. He goes back in to be able to recover it, and it looked like he went in early enough to be able to get it, but watch the ball bounce behind him, and you can see Ryan Anderson just looks down and picks it up.
Dahlman didn't see it. He was seated on the ground near where the ball was rolling around, and Anderson, one of the toughest, orneryest customers, who had that pick 6 against Washington, a takeaway. It's the 28th for this Alabama defense. And it sets the Tide up at the Clemson 35. Time for the Tigers defense to rise up and make a stand here. It's early. And now a false start from Robinson on the left side there. The fine All-American Outland Trophy winner with a mistake.
Yeah, some movement from Clemson, just kind of shifting. And he appeared to be confused there. Moved.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You said it, Kirk. It was a very poor snap by Jay Guillermo. The Tiger offense does not look at all comfortable so far. Most Alabama opponents don't, but you expect with Watson and his poise and all the weapons at their disposal on the success they had last year, I thought they'd have a faster start. 1st and 15. Scarborough hit and dropped for a loss. Storming in was Carlos Watkins, the old man of that group.
Boy, that is outstanding. They actually slant their defensive line that way. They're moving this way. Watkins fights through, shoots a gap. And I'll tell you, he is quick at 305 pounds, able to get off of Corbin and into that backfield for a big loss.
On 2nd and 17, Sarkisian wants some tempo, but Hurt's throw is too high for Calvin Ridley.
You just talked about Clemson's defense needs to kind of step up and make some plays after that turnover. The biggest thing was the left tackle Robinson with a false start to move him back 5 yards. Next play, they get penetration for a tackle for a loss. Drop a ball there. Now you've got Alabama obviously in these 2nd and 3rd and long situations with the freshman quarterback who has not been very consistent as a passer all year.
Now when he's only 2 for 7 so far tonight for 10 yards with 2 passes batted down. Tigers showing a whole lot of pressure. They bring the house, and Hurts chased, retreats, and just fires to the bench. Never had a chance.
That was a great call by Brent Venables to come after a quarterback with speed, with Van Smith. They bring the linebackers, they're bringing pressure, and Van Smith ends up chasing him down. When you bring the linebackers, maybe they get picked up, but you can't account for the safety. You see the speed of the safety? Able to chase him down, force that errant pass, and get this 4th down play.
After the takeaway, they go backwards, and now Scott, who was very slow in his get-off. It took 2.3 seconds last time when Muse got in there and got a piece of it. He'll try to knock it dead. Very good at hitting these sky-high punts and letting the Tide coverage team run under it. And that's what he does. And that is absolutely flawless execution. After the block the last time, you couldn't draw it up better than that.
And like you said, how many times was Washington starting drives last week in the Peach Bowl inside their own 10-yard line?
Levi Wallace was the man down there who stopped it, but credit the punter. That's a sand wedge. It's hit at the 1 and just stopped.
Well, that is beautiful, and it's all about the football in college football.
AT&T pylon cam. They were well blocked. They'd like to get down there and catch that ball. Tigers did a good job, but that somewhat fortunate bounce backs up Deshaun inside the 1-yard line.
Mike Williams is in the game, off to the right, matched up against Marlon Humphrey.
Clemson running game really hasn't been there.
The ball was down short of the goal line. That plays under further review.
Tom Robinson of this Big 12 crew is the replay official. Don't take a peek. And it just matters where the ball is, not the player, and it just has to touch the front of that white line to be a touchback. But I think Wallace got it just in the nick of time.
Yeah, you can see his feet touch and go into the end zone.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter. Again, in college football, it's where the ball is, and as long as it doesn't break the plane, then he's allowed to see his feet into the end zone.
It's the very front of the white line, but I think he just secured it. The upper angle showed a little bit better. But you can see the importance of this play. They want to review it because there's a big difference from the half-yard line to the 20.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Short of the goal line, 1st down.
How adventurous can you be against a defense this good that's already had a 4th down stop and a takeaway if you're Tony Elliott and Jeff Scott?
And remember, this Alabama defense is not only has the ability to create the turnovers, as we saw again reminded last week, how they look to score. This is where they want to get you, to try to pressure you into a mistake. But this one's against Deshaun Watson. To me, the best quarterback in college football, best decision maker at this position in college football.
Gallman, you just hold your breath when you're handed the ball in the end zone against this defense. He had to make a quick move to escape.
Deshaun Watson a week ago against Ohio State, he had a spring in his step. You know, he looked like he had an ability at any moment to pull the ball and pick up 10 or 12 or 15 yards. Off to a little bit of a sluggish start tonight when he has the ball in his hands.
A lot of smiles, a very relaxed attitude in that game. I haven't seen that so far tonight. Pressure off the edge. Gallman, a flag is down as he spins for a short gain.
Ryan Anderson looked like he got a head start there on his blitz from the outside.
Saban is standing out on the field about 5 yards into the grass with his head set off, screaming. Kind of mental mistake. He does not suffer well.
Well, I hope he's upset with his player and not the call.
think that was the gist of it. Man, they made the fumble recovery.
Offside. Defense, number 22, in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Anderson's an interesting story. He's a guy who was sent home in a Trailways bus his freshman year when he was redshirting. They're playing for a championship against Notre Dame. Thought he was going to transfer. His mom said, no, you're not quitting Alabama. You stay there. No quitting. And look where it got him.
And now he's the alpha of this Bama defense.
Deshaun keeps it. He is hit right at the line. I don't think he got it. A crimson wall led by Deshaun Hand held him back.
Well, that was impressive. Reuben Foster holding his own as well. Wayne Gallman trying to come out there to make a block. Deshaun Hand in there. That was impressive. Alabama not giving up an inch there on 3rd down and short.
And that defensive play ends the first quarter here in Tampa. The Tide allow 46 total yards to Clemson. Bo Scarborough scores the only touchdown. 7-0 Alabama. Back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Set for the second quarter at the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Trophy awaits. Will it be a 5th in 8 years for Alabama, a 6th for Saban, or a 1st in 35 years for Clemson?
Remember, early in the game, there was a 4th and 1, and they were so nervous about running into the interior that they tried to go to the outside. Now they're into a 3rd and 1 deep in their own territory. They go back to the outside, or they test Bama where their strength is, into the teeth between the 2 guards in the center.
They got a little cute that first play call, didn't they? This one is a meat and potatoes handoff to Gallman, and they do move the sticks.
That was a much better job. That's a tough ask, by the way, without a lead blocker.
Gallman had 12 yards, Kirk, in the game's first offensive play for Clemson. Yep. That's the longest gain they've had. Very little since then.
Not only picking up a first down, but obviously getting away from their own goal line.
Watson in a slant. It's a low throw and a catch by Hunter Renfrow, the guy who lit up the Tide for a pair of touchdowns in last year's game.
Yeah, he was magnificent a year ago. 7 catches, 88 yards, and those 2 touchdowns. Caught everybody off guard with what he was able to do against Minkah Fitzpatrick in coverage. Plays the H-back for them, that slot receiver, matched up often against Tony Brown. He's going to have to win tonight along with Jordan Leggett, the tight end, who we've not called his name yet tonight.
Deshaun, 6 completions, 8 attempts, but again, just for 28 yards. Jet sweep again. Gallman takes a handoff, and that works for a first down.
You get the outside running game going, and you pick up a first down, and that's right into the wheelhouse of what Clemson wants to do. Mix in a little bit of run game from Deshaun Watson with that. Then your play action passing game. It all fits together for the Clemson offense.
Deshaun runs into heavy traffic and he's dropped. Clemson this year, when they want a big play, they've had to go to the passing game. Very few chunk plays running the ball.
Watch here how hesitant he is about pulling out to run the ball. No, he's going to wait because it's a draw and you want to let it clear, but he doesn't have that same eagerness to want to run the football right now into that front 4. Remember, all we've heard, I feel like a little bit here early, a little rattled. All we've heard about for the last 8 or 9 days is that defensive line against Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun keeps it, picks his way for a short gain. If you're going to hesitate, the offensive linemen got to hold their blocks for a long time. Not easy against those guys.
Makes it a lot tougher to do.
Violent hands, that's what they keep talking about Alabama's defensive front. What does that mean?
Well, violent hands mean they're strong. They're able to extend themselves in the type of defense. They play a 2-gap defense. They can extend themselves away from the offensive lineman, peek into that backfield. Meanwhile, the linebackers are attacking downhill into the backfield. So those counters and quarterback draws are tough.
They crowd the line on 3rd and 8.
What they saw, the reason he hesitates, he looks over, man-to-man coverage from Alabama. Now they back out of it.
You got to hurry. And they call a timeout. They tried to outthink the defense there. but it was going to be a delay of game.
And a good job by Jeremy Pruitt. He recognized that Clemson was going to go to a check. So that Alabama defense is trained to look over. Jeremy Pruitt makes the check with them, gets out of the blitz.
And it's so rare to see Deshaun Watson out of his comfort zone, but he has been so far tonight. TNT Inside Access shows you how the brand new sod field was rolled out here at the Outback Bowl game between Florida and Iowa. It's all taken down and then replaced. Only between the sidelines, the bench area, is the old sod, freshly painted, and the first outdoor championship game in this playoff era. 3rd and 9 for Clemson. And there is Williams, still looking to get involved into that big shot. Knocked him out earlier briefly in the first quarter. Deshaun looked that way, now looks back right, way over the head of a well-covered Jordan Leggett. 4th down.
It's early in this game, but I think Deshaun Watson, because of that big hit that he took early and the way this game is going, with the Alabama defense playing with an attitude, a little chippiness, I think he's a little bit rattled. I think he's a little bit out of sync. Now, it's a long game. He could get back on track. But early, the storyline to me after one quarter is that Bama's not only shutting Clemson out, they've rattled the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, got him off track, not feeling as confident right now.
And that is one of the supreme compliments you can play to a defense. If you can get this guy out of his comfort zone, very, very few have been able to in his 3-year career. Teasdall, rugby-style punt, boots it low, scoots along the ground, and Eric Dieter gives it room, and it'll roll dead at the 26-yard line. So Alabama continues a dominant defensive performance. Back to work, up 7, 47 yards on the punt.
17 College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T is brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy. Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently. Gatorade, the proven sports fuel. And PlayStation. Every day is the big game on PlayStation. Greatness awaits.
Paul Bryant, in a 19-year span, won his 6th national championships, and it seemed like a moot point that he would be considered the greatest Alabama coach, perhaps the most accomplished college football coach ever, before Saban began to mount these national titles and now can catch him tonight with number 6. It would be in a much shorter span of time. They still honor him with a houndstooth pass. I think that's great. Darius Stewart comes in motion. Wide receiver takes the handoff and is free. Out near midfield, a very strong and ornery player. Ball came loose late, out of bounds. Van Smith forced him, but it's a first down in Tigers territory.
He's going to come to the left and watch how he stretches it and then cuts back. Picks up a couple great blocks on the outside by Forrestall and O.J. Howard. But by getting wide and then finding that seam and getting upfield with acceleration is nice.
He got 25 yards, and now Scarborough picks his way for a middle game.
You can see a little rhythm and a pattern to the way Sark is calling these plays, taking a lot of the pressure off of Jalen Hurts. So far, 2 of 8 passing games, not been much of a factor for Bama. Running wide, back into the middle with Scarborough.
There's a far side throw to Ridley. Gets a block from Stewart, and Ridley scoots free. Just a shoestring tackle at the 38 by Jadar Johnson. It's a first down.
And there's just a run-pass option. He recognized a blitz there from Dorian O'Daniel, the outside linebacker. He had 2-on-2 to the outside. Just pulled the ball away from the run game. Decides to throw it to the outside. Picks up big yards.
Ridley's already caught more passes tonight than he did in the win over Washington. Had just 1 catch in the semifinal. Fire to him again, far side. That time old Ben Boulware is waiting for him, and they knock him down for a very short gain.
Interesting formation with 3 receivers into the boundary, including the tight end. Was O.J. Howard is lined up that way too. Trying to just get Clemson maybe a man short into the boundary, but Ben Boulware and the rest of the Clemson defense in position to hold him to a short gain.
Boulware's quote this week: "We want our revenge. We want our redemption." So far, it's Bama's defense. It looks like they want to redeem themselves for last year. Scarborough breaks free. Bo Scarborough in the clear and in the end zone again. "37 yards, pure power football."
An impressive blocking on the left side by Cam Robinson. Ross Pierce-Baker also with a big block on Ben Boulware. How about Ridley, the receiver, downfield with a big block? Entire left side does their job, and Scarborough is dangerous right now with a healthy knee when you give him room to run.
Big fellas blocking like that. Scarborough running hard makes a young quarterback's job very, very manageable so far. Jalen Hurts hasn't had to do too much, and the Crimson Tide are up 2 touchdowns now early second quarter.
Well, they are establishing the line of scrimmage. Watch the left tackle, Cam Robinson, out here. He's going to make a nice block here, and then you're going to see a double team where they work up to Ben Boulware on the left side by Ross Pierce-Baker. The timing, it takes patience. There's the initial block. Watch Pierce-Baker get a block up here to that second level on Ben Boulware. There's Ridley 3. Give him room to run. Van Smith, who's undersized at 195 pounds, not necessarily willing to come over and run support. He runs through that arm tackle. Van Smith's tackle, a stiff arm. And is that Derrick Henry running into the end zone?
Look a lot like him. Nabo says, "You're going to have to fight from behind again." You see Cam Robinson, the big tackle, raise his hand. It was almost like a called touchdown. He said, "No way they're tackling Big Bo with arm tackles out there." Huh?
You're right. He made his block. He pushed his man outside. He put his arm up like,
"We got this."
Yahtzee. That's a touchdown.
No, this is the biggest deficit the Tigers have faced. They rallied in the fourth quarter from 8 down against Louisville and Florida State. But Bama throwing some haymakers early on here. Scott from the 2. Out across the 25-yard line. And now, Kirk, we're going to see if Deshaun Watson can settle down, can find that usual calm and poise and execution.
Yeah, we went to a break showing them the last time they had the ball. It's just out of character. We're not used to seeing Deshaun Watson out of phase, not feeling comfortable, not having that smile. It has everything to do with the way this Bama defense, not only schematically what they're doing, but the energy. I said in a break, it's kind of permeating all the way even up here, probably to people, viewers across the country. They're playing with a real nastiness about them here, and it's affecting Deshaun Watson.
You could see when they took the field in the pregame warm-up, the ferocity, especially among those defensive linemen, was something to see. Deshaun to Renfro. Bounces off, about 8-yard gain. On the other hand, if you're Clemson, it could take just one big play to spark things.
Glad you said that, because the way their offense works, it could take one, not necessarily one play, but one drive, and you're right back in it. Because this isn't only impacting that you're down 14, it's impacting the entire energy of the football team right now, that their leader is not being sharp.
Gallman runs right into traffic and is stopped for no gain there. Joshua Frazier, the backup nose guard on the stop, along with Tomlinson.
It's a mismatch up front. Watch Frazier, 69, fights through a double team. That's a double team. And he makes a tackle in the backfield, along with Deshaun Hand. It's a mismatch early in the game with that defensive line against the offensive line from Clemson.
Tigers need 1.5 yards to keep this drive going. Watson immediately pressured, fires low, and Renfro went down. No signal. Even if he caught it, it's not a first down. Anthony Jennings, a backup linebacker, got in there quickly, Kirk. All kind of guys are coming in here.
Not only did he get in quickly, Chris, it's where he came in. He knew that Deshaun Watson was rolling to his right, so he ends up moving to the right and forcing Deshaun Watson to have to get the ball out quickly. It's a good effort there. Is short of the first down, even if he makes the catch.
Teasdall. And Dieter, who's taken over his punt return duties, the full-time guy. Very reliable, steady dude. Just back there, makes the fair catch at the 35-yard line. And Clemson down 2 touchdowns. Needs their defense to step up and make a stand. The Taco Bell student section. Taco Bell in the college football playoff, bringing the best of the regular season to the playoff by creating the Taco Bell student section. Tonight they're picking up the tab for 1,000 students from each school at the championship game, so these fans can root on their teams. A little grim for the folks in orange and blue so far.
When we talked in the open about make Jalen Hurts have to throw to win, he has 19 yards passing. It's been all the run game.
You feed Damian Harris, who spells Scarborough, and the sophomore from Richmond, Kentucky, knocked down. So much focus on Sarkisian and the play calling and how would Hurts respond coming off that 57-yard pass game in the semifinal. Hadn't been a factor at all.
14 runs so far and 10 passes, but as I said, it's been all the run game. But it's been the variety of formations, the runs to the outside, the runs to the inside, controlling the line of scrimmage. It's been a mixed bag, and that's why they've been effective.
Hurts, it's the longest pass attempt he's thrown, and is complete to Ridley for a first down at the 47.
And when you start to run the football and you get the attention of the linebackers, it can open up easier throws for him. That was a nice quick slant when Boulware got out. Easy throwing lane there for Hurts.
The Tide trying to apply some pressure with tempo. Here's the first down carry for Harris. He's slammed immediately for a 1-yard gain.
I mean, this offense, at this point, they're not even thinking about throwing the ball down 15 yards, 20 yards downfield. Brent Venables has got to be thinking to himself, he has a really talented, athletic, aggressive defense. He's got to be thinking, attack the line of scrimmage, shoot the gaps. I mean, they're number 2 in the country in tackles for a loss, and they're not able to get into that backfield.
They look to their left to get the signal from Venables on this play. Hurts rolls out. Thought about a downfield shot. Stewart was really well covered. He flips it short, incomplete on the sideline, intended for Dieter.
And that's kind of the complement to their outside run game is the bootleg. You get Jalen Hurts, who's very athletic. You run the ball. Occasionally you're booting him just to kind of make that defense aware that he can come out the other way. And you have to respect that part of the attack. But here's a third down and long.
Batted at the line, incomplete. They were hoping they could get a hand on the football and then get lucky with the carom. That fell to the turf, but it's a fourth down.
That's been their best defense.
Yep.
And it didn't even look like Wilkins jumped there. It looks like he just reached up and put his big paw up there. Watch, he's being blocked by 2 guys. He just waves his left arm. Pretty good athletic ability, by the way, to be blocked by 2 guys, time up your left arm to swat that ball away.
Prevented what would have been a first down completion because Dieter was open on the slant there.
Sure was.
Instead, they forced the punt. And Scott to Scott continues. This time J.K. boots it out of bounds. And again, Clemson will be pinned back as Deshaun Watson tries to get big Mike Williams and his weapons engaged here. Still being shut out. 7:42 before halftime.
Well, this is what we've seen so far. It started with a big hit from this Alabama defense. They have gotten to Deshaun Watson the entire game, kind of rattled him, in my opinion. He's hesitant to run the ball. It's a combination of not feeling confident and Bama being determined to stop him from running and being much faster this year in their front 4 than where they were a year ago, where he ran for 73 yards. He threw for over 405 yards with 4 touchdown passes.
This is Gallman on the edge. Just one Clemson play of 10+ yards. Tom, what's the message being delivered on the Bama sidelines?
Chris, after that last defensive series, Jonathan Allen, one of the leaders, gathering those on the front around him along with Dalvin Thomas and saying pressure and aggression, pressure and aggression. What did I tell you all night long? No let up on number 4. That's been the successful recipe so far, Chris.
Tom, thank you. Allen out at the moment as Watson flips it high and Deion Kane's free. Kane with great speed to midfield. And the Tampa native makes Clemson's first big play of the night down inside the Tide 40.
They got the linebacker Foster out opens up some movement and ability to get out into the open field by Deion Kane, but it was blitzing linebackers. Evans got blitzed, was out of the way. Reuben Foster goes in motion. Wayne Gallman opens up a big gain.
And now Watson loops it for Kane downfield again. A one-on-one battle. No flag. Sweeney incredulous at the non-call. Averett in coverage again.
Dabo Sweeney fired up. Deshaun Watson does a really good job of putting the ball up in the air. I think Alabama's saying maybe it's offensive pass interference.
Kane, as he was falling, did appear to put the arm around Averett, perhaps preventing an interception.
I don't see. Both these guys are kind of jostling for position. It's a good no call, in my opinion, from the officials.
Watson, slant, incomplete. Meanwhile, Deion Kane, the journey back from the embarrassment, Kirk, of being sent home from the playoff a year ago. And I asked Dabo, who do you want to have a big night? Who would you feel great for among the so many guys? He said number 8, because of what he's been through. Made it very, very tough on him to earn his way back in the team.
Yeah, suspended right before the Oklahoma game in that semifinal. Missed a game there in Miami. Missed a championship game. But since then, has done everything that's been asked of him, and that's why his head coach would love to see him do well.
5 receiver look on 3rd and 10. Tide rush 4. Watson has time. Delivers over the middle. Leggett. And Jordan Leggett with a catch down inside the 15. And now Deshaun starting to look more like himself.
Well, when Alabama goes to the safety look where they have their safeties going deep, you got to be able to split them. And that's exactly what you see from Deshaun Watson, throwing right over the top of Reuben Foster.
A 26-yard gain. You fake it to Gallman. This is Williams. Spins free. And Williams shows his physical nature down inside the 10.
Not only physical nature, but toughness and willingness. After that spin, he spins right back into the middle of that defense after the hit that he suffered with Tony Brown, who kind of lit him up. He's been working his way back into the lineup to try to be a factor. And by the way, in the red zone, that's where 7 can really be a go-to guy because of his size.
And this red zone appearance down 14 feels enormous for the Tigers. Ray McLeod comes in motion. Watson bobbled the snap. It gets the edge and scores. With little dance to cap an 87-yard drive, Tigers offense has finally shown up tonight. See if he stayed in. Yep.
Yeah, he's able to stay in. Ray McLeod, Chris, going in motion. It's the exact same play they called against Ohio State, where they motioned. The corner went with him, and Wayne Gallman got a touchdown in that game. This time they motion a receiver, take the corner out of the play, but it's Deshaun Watson who's able to get to the corner following Gallman.
9th rushing touchdown of the season for the quarterback. And Clemson in 1:33 and 7 plays covered the 87 yards.
So you get the motion to take the edge of the defense off. You'll see the receiver go here. Everett ends up following him, which opens up that edge right there. Now you just need to get a block by the tight end. You get a great block by Gallman, and then there's the quickness and toughness by Watson. He takes a blow but stays in bounds and gets to the end zone.
And the agility to stay in bounds, keep his feet here.
And he gets hit.
This is rare here.
Yep. His momentum, everything is going out of bounds, but he kind of put his foot down and got to the corner for the touchdown. And by the way, we talk about an important drive there, down 14.
AT&T pylon cam shows the tightrope work of Deshaun Watson, a drive that was ignited by the long completion to Deion Kane, then the pass to Leggett to get in scoring position.
So you have the screen to try to slow down the speed and the blitzing nature and aggressiveness of Alabama where they hit Kane. 3rd down, you have 2 safeties that are wide, opens up the middle of the field, and what a great throw by Deshaun Watson to the big tight end Leggett, and then the speed of Watson to get into the end zone.
Hugo with a directional kick. It's very short, and he's taken on one of the up men there. And it's Hentis, the tight end, who muscles out of bounds. So an interesting tactic from the kickoff team. They don't try to boot it deep. Well, Saturday on ESPN, an ACC college hoops Classic between Duke and Louisville, number 7 against number 14. Saturday, 12 noon Eastern time. Also on the Watch ESPN app.
The big 3 for the Cavs. They're going to make another run this year, Chris?
I know you hope they do.
Well, I'd love to see LeBron make a run.
Does LeBron recover from Ohio State's shutout loss in the semifinal?
I'm sure he's still recovering.
Clemson fans on their feet and making some noise now. The energy has completely changed in this place. Hurts still got it. Excellent fake. I think the Tigers thought that Scarborough had the ball.
It's a great read. It's his own read. He's reading Christian Wilkins, who obviously collapses down. And when he collapses down, he's going to pull it out. And he blows up Scarborough. And inside also is Farrell. A nice job of keeping the edge for the Clemson defense.
Hurts has run it for 30 yards, which puts him over 900 yards on the season. Now looks to throw to Ridley, far side. Ridley escapes. And knocked down at the 45-yard line by Johnson.
Throwing in rhythm. Nice job with soft coverage to his left. He sees it before the snap. Throws in rhythm and timing to the fleet-footed Calvin Ridley. Just like that, across the 50.
Scarborough picks his way. Think about Hurts' rushing yards, Kirk. He has more rushing yards this season as a true freshman than all of Nick Saban's previous quarterbacks at Alabama combined. Think about embracing a different style of offense. Think about that.
Yeah, had 4 100-yard rushing games coming into tonight.
This is Ridley who dropped it. Got to pick it up there. Incomplete pass.
Keep in mind,
you got to be careful when those are behind the line of scrimmage.
I mean, you're watching him. If you're not familiar with Jalen Hurts, remember, this kid's a true freshman. He's 18 years old. Out here playing in the national championship. Up 14-7 against Clemson. We've seen, one true freshman quarterback ever do that.
Jamel Holloway
back in Oklahoma.
He's a little bit younger than Jamel is at the time Holloway won the championship. He's only turned 18 in August. They need 5 on this third down. Option left. Ben Boulware sniffed it out. He signaled to teammates before the snap, and his buddy Kendall Joseph made the tackle.
That's what gives you an idea of what makes Ben Boulware unique, is watch his hand. I thought he was trying to get somebody in line. He's telling him the play's coming here. Tight end into the boundary. They're running the ball this way. Everybody come this way. And Dabo Swinney excited to see that defense come up with a big stop. But great recognition from the leader for the Clemson defense, Ben Boulware.
And they snuff out the Bama drive. 4.5 to play before halftime as Scott tries to pin the Tigers deep here again. Booming punt. But this one is going to sail into the end zone. So a touchback. And we talked about Jamel Holloway for the Oklahoma Sooners getting the championship victory in the Orange Bowl as a true freshman. Heath Dixon, the tight end, made a big play in that game. There weren't too many huge offensive plays in the pass game.
I love Jamel Holloway. Back in that day, the mid-'80s, that Oklahoma offense, Brian Bosworth. I mean, Jamel Holloway, remember Charles Thompson, but Holloway, he'd be 12, 15, 30 yards downfield and pitching the ball to his back. He was a beast.
Jalen Hurts has been around football his whole life. His dad's a coach. He told me maybe 5 years old was the first time that he was in a huddle. So he feels totally comfortable, born to do this, shakes off mistakes. If you think about the first play of his college career, all the hype, we were there in Texas against USC, loses a fumble in the first play of his career. But I bounce right back.
Yeah, such a good point. It's not just that he's out there playing, it's the poise and the composure that he's played with all year. And you got to give credit to his dad, being around that locker room, being around high school football his whole life. What an advantage.
Gallman tries to slam on the brakes and turn the corner. It's a very short gain. Rashaan Evans got in there quickly.
It's a game of adjustments. Clemson making the right adjustments, getting the ball out on that screen, coming up with a big play. See if they can settle Deshaun Watson in this offense in, and also Nick Saban and Jeremy Pruitt. They're also, after that touchdown, they're coming up with ways that they want to slow the Tigers down here.
From the pocket, Williams makes the catch. And big Mike Williams is back mentally and back in this game, moves it to the 45.
Well, that is a great job of recognizing their defensive back, Anthony Everett. Watch him fall down in coverage. Ball is out as soon as he goes down for the first down.
Here comes the tempo and a first down carry for Gallman. Amazing how the energy changed when that long completion to Kane got the Tigers offense going. They had been pinned back deep.
And we were kind of waiting for that. I mean, the crowd was quiet. The sidelines from Clemson was just kind of sitting there like deer in the headlights. They needed something, whether it was the defense creating a turnover, Deshaun Watson coming up with a drive. They got the drive, and it does. It feels different in this stadium, in this atmosphere, and on that Clemson sideline now.
2nd and 9. Immediate pressure. Watson is hammered and fires high and incomplete. Ryan Anderson knocked him down, and Deshaun a little slow to get up.
Well, they really came after him. The blitz up the middle from Foster, but it's the pressure right here. Watch how quick Ryan Anderson collapses the pocket on that right side. And that is quickness and power from Ryan Anderson.
Ooh, you can hear the pop when hitting the quarterback that time. Anderson brings 253 pounds to bear. Again, it's 3rd down. They need 9. Watson from the pocket. No one to throw to, and he'll be sacked by Reuben Foster. And the Tide defense rises up to snuff out this momentum.
They're rushing with 4. They contain him. How long did we talk about keeping him in the pocket? Don't let him get out. Don't give him scrambling lanes. They contain him, and eventually the linebacker, the leader, Foster, comes up with a sack. But a great job by the entire defensive line, not letting him on 3rd down step up and get away.
2nd sack for the Bama defense. So good at creating havoc in those negative plays, and a promising drive snuffed out. And now Teasdale boots it right along the ground. Dieter fields it nicely on one hop like a shortstop, and is knocked out near the 40. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. 9-yard return after a 33-yard punt. And Reuben Foster, we're told, is inside the athletic trainer's tent where they do examinations after making the sack on that last play.
And I think it was maybe a play or two earlier where he came up, got up a little bit slow. We'll have to keep an eye on him. He is such a big part of their defense and the leadership there. I think it was on the sack from Ryan Anderson where he ran into Reuben Foster.
That happens a lot. These guys are so violent on defense, they sometimes hurt each other when they collide. Scarborough, short gain. It was the SEC championship game against Florida. There were 3 Alabama players down on the field on one play because it all knocked into each other.
Yeah, it's exactly right. This is where Williams comes in. Foster comes up the middle on the blitz. 22 actually right there hits him. He's slow to get up.
Still made the play after that, though, in the sack. On 2nd and 8, Scarborough. Very left-handed running team. The Tide like to go behind big Cam Robinson on that side.
You can see Cam Robinson and Ben Boulware kind of have their own matchup going right now. Both kind of emotional leaders for each of their teams. Cam Robinson, a junior, 6'6", 310 pounds. Weight down this year, having a big year for Bama. And Ben Boulware, as we've seen all year for the Tigers, he's kind of the emotional spark plug for this Clemson defense.
He is indeed, and something of a lightning rod. Minute 23 until halftime. Tide needs 6. Pistol formation. Again, they run it on 3rd and long. This time, stopped in the backfield by Carlos Watkins and Boulware. 4th down.
You know, this play, this is Brent Venables just recognizing a formation. Look how far out the formation is, so it basically becomes a box play. As a defense, you know with those formations, there's no way they're going to run routes from way out there, so you know that they're going to run the ball. Clemson locked in there to take away the threat, whether it's quarterback run or they hand it off to Bo Scarborough.
Once again, best team at tackles for loss. They have been for the last 5 years. And, you know, Boulware, such an emotional guy. He made some comments about the clutching and grabbing of opponents when it was caught on camera that, Christian Wilkins had grabbed a vulnerable area of Curtis Samuel in the semifinal. And Boulware kind of blew up the story by saying, we do it all the time. It's part of our culture. The coaches did not enjoy that comment. They don't want the defense to be known for that kind of naughty stuff.
No, they don't want their program to be known for that. And I think he got a little bit carried away with his comments, and he was talked to by the coaches. By the way, the last couple series, Clemson's defensive line, linebackers, much better job of playing with more an aggressive mindset and getting off of blocks.
Already the 6th punt, a busy first half for J.K. Scott. Artavis Scott and his 21. Clemson had to spend timeouts. They'll have none to work with a minute 12 to go before halftime. Scott again methodical, but he gets a boomer. Artavis Scott retreats and makes a fair catch at the 4. Kind of lost track of where he was.
Yeah, and that decision ultimately will probably affect how Clemson ends up attacking with this minute 4 to go in the first half.
And the Buick halftime report with Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, and David Pollock is coming up, and I think you're spot on. You saw Dabo Swinney's reaction, said, well, forget about it.
If the ball goes into the end zone, you're at the 20-yard line, even without any timeouts, you're going to probably try to at least get into field goal range. Now, you go back inside your 5-yard line, you don't have any timeouts. By the way, Bama has, all 3 of their timeouts.
Yeah, that's true.
They're going to try to stop you here and try to see if they can force a punt.
Conversation between Swinney and his punt returner, a veteran, about the decision right there. So let's see if the Tide do begin to spend timeouts, try to get one more look at it. In the end zone, Deshaun throws a slant. That was a dangerous little route there. It was incomplete as he tried to get the ball in heavy traffic.
A dangerous throw, but if you're an Alabama fan, you don't even have to use one of your timeouts. The clock stops. 4 seconds taken off the clock there by Clemson's offense.
You expect to run this time?
You would think so, yeah. They've got to get Alabama to use some timeouts.
Watson hands it off inside. A stutter step from Gallman. He'll be knocked down at the 9 and a timeout spent.
Yeah, Alabama's thinking now, get a stop here on 3rd down and get the ball back in very, very favorable field position. Maybe have a shot at a field goal themselves.
Well, Nick Saban so intent to make changes, Kirk, to his defense based on what happened against the Tigers a year ago. And the Bama defenders so intent to come back. And even though they won the title a year ago, you'd think they lost the game. Their attitude about getting another crack at Watson and the Tigers.
I mean, when we met with Ryan Anderson yesterday, I would have sworn that they lost the game. But that's how they felt. I mean, they're not used to giving up over 40 points and over 400 yards passing to a quarterback. And I think it became very personal. I think they were more excited to get a chance to play Deshaun Watson and Clemson than Clemson was to get back to the national championship, because they wanted that one-on-one battle against the Clemson offense out of respect more than anything because of what they were able to do last year. It's a big 3rd down here.
And the Tide defenders urging their fans who are right behind the Clemson offense to make it tough on Watson here.
You got empty, which means either quarterback run or the ball's got to be out fast from Deshaun Watson.
Pre-snap chess game. Watson fires far side. Renfro makes a catch on the sidelines, and the Tigers do make a 1st down in front of Tony Brown.
The accuracy from Deshaun Watson when he is on. How about the guts to make this throw? Man under, finds the matchup that he wants against Tony Brown, and Renfro gets the foot down for the 1st down.
You think he trusts his arm?
Yeah, I think so.
Strength and accuracy. Now let's see how adventurous they'll get. They do have a 1st down, still no timeouts, and a long way to go to get in field goal range. Watson from the pocket across the middle, batted up in the air and nearly intercepted. Got to be so careful.
Well, this is where Washington was in the semifinal game near the end of the first half. And you and I and the Bear we were watching saying that it feels like a potential interception for a touchdown, and they came up with one. How about that? That ball is thrown right into the hands of the linebacker Evans, who's got good size at 6'3" and athletic ability. That ball goes up in the air. And Bama, of course, with the way they come up with turnovers, is they can get that ball.
Watson a little fortunate there to avoid a pick, and now a false start. In fact, the right tackle was backing out.
Well, he's looking across at Tim Williams, and he's thinking, I cannot let him beat me to the corner.
Got two true freshman right tackles in this game tonight.
Number 76, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Sean Pollard was in a high school all-star game a year ago this time, and he's played very, very well, stepping into the starting role in the middle of the season. Jonah Williams is a prodigy on the other side, but think about that. That's a tricky position to be playing on a national championship game.
Sure is.
With this many great defensive linemen on both teams.
As you said, we've been marveling at Jalen Hurts as a true freshman, being 18 years old. How about Pollard going up on these third downs, second and longs against a guy like Tim Williams?
But his penalty moves it to 2nd and 15, 44 seconds to go. Watson looking just along the sidelines and has to just throw it away. Anderson was in his face.
If you're Dabo Swinney, you got to be reminding, even though Deshaun Watson's a veteran, reminding him, hey, we get the ball to start the second half. Let's not do anything crazy. I saw Dabo clap after that play, throws it away, gets away from the potential threat of a turnover. Little surprised that they're still throwing the ball, to be honest with you, without any timeouts.
We'll see if Saban spends a timeout. If the Tide can get a stop here on 3rd and 15. Watson throws it. It's a little tunnel screen. Renfro fights hard for a very short gain. It will be 4th down, and Saban will spend that second timeout now. 30 seconds to play with. Well, we talked about the shot that Watson took early in the game. Boom, 15-yard penalty there.
Set the tone. I think they were willing to give up the 15 yards to kind of set the tone defensively. Bo Scarborough after the big semifinal game has gotten out for a couple touchdowns, averaging 6 yards a carry here tonight. And that's what Clemson needed to get back into this game. They've come up with a touchdown to get it to a 7-point game. Alabama defense not that impressed. They're still going to come after number 4, as Tom Rinaldi reported. He heard Jonathan Allen saying all day, all game, we're coming after Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun with the 1 rushing touchdown, 153 yards passing, and just 1 net rushing yard when you factor in the sacks. Teasdall, very low kick, just scoots along the ground. It's effective though, because it's away from Garrick Dieter, and it chews up a few more seconds as it finally rolls dead at the 31. Just 19 to go before halftime.
The great thing about a punt like that is it just keeps rolling and rolling, and that clock keeps ticking and ticking.
He's not normally an exclusive rugby punter, but they figured it would be a very effective tactic in this game. It's certainly difficult on the returner.
See what Steve Sarkisian comes up with, and you see Nick Saban right in the middle of that huddle giving his opinion on what he would like to see from the offense with 19 seconds and 1 timeout remaining with the ball on their own 34-yard line.
What do you think his opinion is? We're up by 7. Let's get to the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, you might try to find a matchup maybe on 1st and 10 just to see if you can get something where you don't have a lot of high risk for the freshman quarterback. Just kind of feel it out here on this, maybe just the first play, and if you have success, maybe you get aggressive.
Short pass. Yep. Stewart can't escape, and will be dropped for a loss at the 30-yard line by Kendall Joseph. They won't spend it, and that'll be the last play of the first half. If you look at the stats, Clemson actually has the edge in yardage. They've had the 1 really productive touchdown drive, but Bama flexing up front on defense, and with that man, Bo Scarborough.
From where this game was trending to where we are now after that touchdown to get it to a 1-possession game, Clemson's defense seems to have kind of settled in. And remember, they get the ball to start the second half, so now we got a ball game on our hands.
Let's get Saban's thoughts on the first half with Tom Rinaldi.
Thanks very much, Chris. You only surrendered 7 points on defense. How would you assess what you've seen offensively, Nick?
Well, a little inconsistent. You know, he broke a couple runs, but, you know, he had a couple drops, had a couple batted balls. You know, we just got to be more consistent in what we're doing. We stopped ourselves with penalties a couple times, and, you know, these guys are pretty good, so we got to do a better job executing.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Appreciate it. Sam?
Well, Coach, your defense had some big stops late in the first half, but in your mind, what's the biggest challenge they're presenting your offense with here?
Well, we're getting our butts kicked in field position right now. We've had some really difficult field position. You got to go 99 yards against them. That's some tough sledding. So field position, first of all, we had a turnover, drop, snaps. So we just got to clean it up, and then we can't let them get comfortable running the ball. Their 2 big plays came off running downs. We got to make this quarterback throw the football. And that's the biggest disappointment. The first one, we didn't get outside and contain it. Second one, they did a nice job on the stretch play. But, hey, it's 14-7. Put together a nice drive. We're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. It's a ball game.
Still smiling. All right. Thanks, Coach.
And the plan was stop the running game, which they didn't last year, and stop the explosive plays, which they failed to do. They've done one of those 2 things, but the running game has punished them a bit.
They got to tighten up their run defense. Make Hurts throw to win.
End of the first half here in Tampa. Stay tuned after these messages for the Buick Halftime Report. The Tide on top by a touchdown.
Leave it all on the field. Play for your brother, all right? Play for Clemson.
Scarborough gets the edge, rumbling all the way to the end zone.
Bama's rattled Deshaun Watson.
Tide have a takeaway. Bo Scarborough in the end zone again. Watson scores. The energy has completely changed in this place. Back in Tampa for the second half of the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Chris Fowler back with Kirk Herbstreit, Samantha Ponder, and Tom Rinaldi. Jalen Hurts, the true freshman quarterback for Alabama, only needing 66 yards in total offense to create a 14-7 lead. Deshaun Watson and the Tigers could get the ball to begin the second half here. And Watson, as you pointed out of sorts early. The 1 touchdown drive in their 6th possession finally gave Clemson a spark. Let's see if they can build on that.
I think the 14-7 lead, you really have to attribute that to Alabama's defense. They came in here with a chip on their shoulder after the performance they had last year against Deshaun, sending a message, not just defending him well, but coming out and really hitting him early. And I think it rattled him, got him a little bit out of rhythm, and he's been able to settle down and kind of get things going in a much better direction.
Take a look at the Capital One pivot performance here.
This is early in the game. You can see Reuben Foster hits him hard. You can just see him. Every time he dropped back to throw, he's just kind of out of sync. And then he had a drive, settled down, had time to throw, split the safeties with a big tight end, and a play or two later gets into the corner of the end zone to make it a 1-possession game. And now they get the ball to start this second half.
Such a different feel to last year's championship game. Both offenses got firing, more scoring. Defenses on both sides were kind of on their back heels in that game in Glendale. Not tonight.
No, Jalen Hurts so far, they've done a good job being in control of the game. They jumped out to an early lead. They're up 7-0, then 14-0. They haven't really asked him to do a whole lot at this point. Just kind of managing the game, not doing anything to hurt his offense and hurt himself in that first half.
Griffith's boot carries right to the goal line. And this is C.J. Fuller. The backup tailbacks for Clemson. Returns it out across the 25-yard line. So Deshaun, 13 of 23, 153. Didn't throw a touchdown pass. Did avoid an interception, but had a fumble that Alabama did recover.
I think it's important for him and for this offense, for him to see what kind of adjustments Clemson makes. He needs to be able to run the football, to be able to help take some of the pressure off of always having to throw. Not much of a factor, in fact, not at all. 9 carries in that first half, only 1 yard rushing.
Gallman, left side, held up by Anderson and then spun around and gang tackled for a gain of 3.
Well, the linebackers are flying tonight. Rashaan Evans, 32, Reuben Foster. These guys are getting off blocks and getting downhill in a hurry. In fact, this defense is built with their front four because they play so much two-gap, meaning that they keep those offensive linemen off the backers. So very, very hard to run the ball against this defense.
Watson steps up, flips it to Renfro, who reaches up, makes a nice grab for a first down.
This is just an option route for a very athletic receiver, Renfro, and watch the hands here. He just kind of boxes out the bigger Evans and then goes up to make the catch for that first down. But really, really nice example of the importance of catching the ball with your hands.
Fifth reception for Renfro. Now on the carom as they try to get it to Williams. It's incomplete. Well covered by Marlon Humphrey.
I'm surprised that Reuben Foster did not get his hands on the football. The middle linebacker almost comes up with a big interception. Humphrey's in coverage, but watch 10 right in the middle of your screen. Pauses, then late, right there, just goes off his fingertips. Almost comes up with a pick.
Foster with a sack in the first half. Top tackler on this defense. Tide were still standing up trying to get in position as the ball was snapped. Didn't matter. It comes loose. Anderson scoops it up and is knocked down at the 15-yard line. The second fumble recovery for Ryan Anderson. And the Tide are in business.
There's that swarming defense. Ryan Anderson actually gets his hands on the ball and knocks it out. Right there, 22. He's reaching in there to pull that ball out, and then he's just waiting for a hop to come in and swoop it up. And if it isn't for the effort, look at him right there, hands on the ball, knocks it out, presence of mind to pick it up. And if it isn't for Hunter Renfro, it's yet another touchdown for that Alabama defense.
Dabo knows the danger of turning the ball over against the Tide, and Anderson's got the belt in his hand. And the title bout hasn't been won yet. But that is another takeaway from a very tough customer in Gallman who rarely coughs it up. See if the Tide can cash this in from the 16.
Cam Robinson moved again, left tackle.
Having a tough night. Outland Trophy winner. Yeah. You don't expect mistakes from him.
It looked like he just lost his balance there.
Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And back to Ryan Anderson, the guy that we talked about, the ferocity, the serious business, one of the guys that leads by example, but a guy who is playing for something bigger than himself. He wears number 22 to honor a guy named Isaac Houston, a high school teammate who was in the Army, was killed by a drunk driver. He put in that jersey to honor his friend. Has been a different player since he took that on, Kirk. Much more responsible, mature player. Scarborough, muscles free, and Tide reaping the benefits of Anderson's ball hawking tonight. Multiple turnovers against the Tide, Kirk. It's spelled disaster.
Yeah.
Since 2008, get this. Opponents for Alabama, when they turn it over 2 or more times, are 2-64 against this man's team. Clemson's now got a couple turnovers.
That's right. Just don't see it happen. You give their offense a couple more possessions and you get their defense. The defense a lot of times scores on those turnovers.
Behind the sticks now on second down, however. Hurts, pump fake. Looks it for the end zone for Ridley over his head. Ryan Carter was right with him.
Yeah, great job in coverage there by Carter. They tried to get him on a double move, a little slant and go, but he stayed right there with Ridley and took away that throwing angle for Jalen Hurts. It's a big, big play here after the turnover. The effort by Renfro to stop Anderson from scoring gives the defense a chance to get on the field. And now what will Hurts come up with here on third down?
Play clock at 4. Does he see it? The sidelines see it. And they tried to signal a timeout. Hurts fires low in traffic. The catch is made by O.J. Howard at the 10-yard line. The coaches were thinking that he wouldn't get the ball off in time. They tried to signal timeout.
Yeah, they came running down. I'll tell you, Christian Wilkins almost had another one. Almost deflected another one at the line of scrimmage, but they pick up some yards, but not enough for the first down.
So the very reliable Adam Griffith, who's made 10 of his last 11, 20 of 27 on the season, from 27 yards to stretch the lead back to double digits. The very reliable snap of Cole Mazza, the hold of Cooper Bateman, and Griffith knocks it through with no problem. So here's the fumble as they rip it out of Gallman's hands, but the Tiger defense does a good job after the turnover.
Yeah, they come up with a big turnover. They start at the Clemson 16-yard line with a real opportunity to gain some momentum and go up by 2 touchdowns, and the Clemson D forces a field goal. It's a big stop by the Tigers.
So the fumble recovery, he forced it and recovered it. Ryan Anderson, and the short Griffith field goal stretches the Alabama lead to 10. And the Tigers don't turn it over. They've really been impossible to stop this season. Of course, they hadn't faced Alabama yet. But now 2 turnovers. And Fuller into heavy traffic short of the 20. Celebrating its 12th year of sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to the participating schools' scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. How does that takeaway in the field goal change the complexion, if at all, of the Tigers' offense?
I don't think it changes it at all really early in this second half. I mean, it's more about taking care of the football. I mean, the last thing you want to do against this Bama defense is put the ball in their hands where they can score. They're fortunate to only give up 3 points after that.
Watson taken off all the way. They try to create plays on the ground for the quarterback. That's been rare tonight. Stevens stops him after about a 5-yard gain.
Yeah, every time he pulls it down to run the football, those linebackers and safeties, everybody's looking to try to lay the wood on Deshaun Watson. One thing they were determined to take away tonight was his ability to create and his mobility.
From the pocket, Watson delivers a back shoulder throw, and Kane makes the catch at the 35.
Yeah, perfect timing here with Deon Kane. You said, Chris, the back shoulder fade, and that's exactly what it is. So you can see that he's got enough time to be able to throw, and because the defensive back got upfield so far, he just throws it back, and a good adjustment by Deon Kane.
Second catch for the Tampa native. He had the big play to spark the offense in the first half, and now Renfro has been busy tonight. Scoots through heavy traffic, and the Tigers begin to get some rhythm, get 9 on first down.
Kind of a similar play to what we saw to Deon Kane. Kind of that tunnel screen, get the ball out to a wide receiver. Again, it's an aggressive defense. It's getting upfield. Because they're getting upfield, there's some pockets there. They've timed it up now twice pretty well, where they get the lineman out in front. He's got a little bit of a convoy there. We saw Kane with a big gain on that play earlier.
McLeod motions back in. Watson steps up and takes off, and will get a first down out near midfield.
It's one of the few times we've seen his ability to improvise, getting outside. He was actually looking downfield to potentially take a shot on second down and short, but because it was taken away, good decision to pull it down. Bama right now with 2 deep safeties, taking away the chance of throwing the ball downfield.
Option look. Fuller on the edge is knocked down hard by Foster. Gain into Alabama territory.
And they are hitting down there tonight.
Yes, they are.
Reuben Foster is getting after it.
28 more tackles than the second leading tackler on this defense.
And it took that baton from Reggie Ragland. They always have that enforcer in the middle of that Bama defense, and this year it's number 10.
Butkus Award winner. Empty backfield. Deshaun back. Again, a throw for Williams along the sideline. Big fella goes up and gets it. Humphrey able to wrestle him down. It'll be 3rd and short.
Heck of an effort there by Mike Williams. Because of that catch and that effort, you're looking at a difference between maybe a 3rd and 8 if that goes off his fingertips, and now a 3rd and 1.5 or 3rd and 2. Big difference and a strong effort after we looked at Mike Williams and thought, is he going to be okay? Is he going to be able to play the rest of this game after the big hit he sustained early in this game from Tony Brown?
Gallman out of the game. They're looking at his leg on the sidelines on 3rd and 1. It's Fuller who motions out.
Deshaun always a threat here.
Low throw. Going down low to make the catch and move the chains again is Renfro.
Low and away from Tony Brown, where only the little man, Hunter Renfro, can go down and get it. You know, if you talk to him and you ask him who does he trust the most in these kind of situations, it's Hunter Renfro. Did he keep his hands under and come up with a catch? They may take a peek at that again.
Tigers are trying to play fast, and just in the nick of time, the replay booth buzzes down, and Tom Robinson will see.
Is a completed catch that plays under further review.
If Renfro kept his arms underneath the ball, it definitely hit the ground, but was it in his arms or had it fallen between them? We'll take a break as they take a look.
College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T is brought to you by Honda. Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands. Taco Bell's $1 double stack tacos. And Dos Equis, respect the game. Don't drink more, drink better. Enjoy responsibly.
Here's the verdict from Mike DeFee and the replay. Ruled a catch by Hunter Renfro. They're still chatting about it.
I gotta believe they're just working on where the ball needs to be placed, and it's like if they end up reversing it, calling it incomplete, it should be about 4th and 1.5.
Yeah.
4th and 2. They're just trying to figure out where probably the ball needs to be. The sticks have already moved for indicating a first down, so they're gonna have to, if they reverse it, they'll have to bring everything back. Got some weightlifting in before he came out.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground before the player was able to gain control. It's an incomplete pass. It's going to be 4th down and 2 at the 43.5-yard line. Please set the game clock to 9:23. 9:23.
Well, you brought it up, Kirk. It's a very similar down and distance and field position situation to Clemson's gamble early in this game that didn't work when they got stuffed.
And Dabo Sweeney's in there. You know, Alabama has had an advantage with field position most of the night. I'd be surprised if they didn't punt the ball here.
Well, Deshaun's on the field, and Wayne Gallman's back in the game.
Remember, Washington had kind of brought their offense out and then did kind of a quick kick last week to try to pin Alabama back inside their own territory. Maybe they asked Deshaun to do the same thing.
It worked. Browning was a very good pooch punter. Does Deshaun have that in the skill set?
I think you might find out right here. Be very surprised if they end up going for it.
Is it a gamble or a bluff? It is a good call, Kirk. A little pooch from Deshaun. And just to display his athletic skills, he does an excellent job with that and rolls dead at the 5.
The reason I expected that is Clemson's got to be thinking they're playing with a freshman quarterback, and we've done nothing to make him feel pressure. They had a 7-0 lead. They had a 14-0 lead. They've been able to just kind of play an offense that's been conservative, fairly one-dimensional, without putting him under the fire. Clemson now puts him at his 5-yard line. Now you can start to maybe do some things and try to create pressure on Alabama. Clemson's been the one dealing with all the pressure most of this game because of field position.
It was a 38-yard punt. That's exactly what the regular punter Teasdale averaged this year. So Deshaun does his job, and now we'll see how Sarkisian calls this and how Jalen Hurts responds, protecting a 10-point lead.
Remember, we've bragged all night about Bama's defense. Brent Venables will crank up the pressure too down here.
And they stack up Scarborough for a short gain on first down. Leland Farrell, see him grabbing his left ankle. One of the disruptive forces in the front line there.
Yeah, it looked like an Alabama, actually the ball carrier, Bo Scarborough, may have rolled up on that ankle. He has really come on this year as a freshman. You and I had, 4 or 5 of the Clemson games this year. Every week he seemed to get better and better, but he's tapping his head, indicating that he needs somebody potentially to come get him. But he's going to line up against Cam Robinson.
And he barely gets lined up. And Hurts from the goal line flips it over the middle. Broken up. Boulware delivered a shot to Ardarius Stewart. 3rd down.
Well, that's the two of the. Now he's down. Farrell's going to go down. He tried to gut it out, play through it. That's the tough guy from Clemson. hitting the tough guy from Alabama.
Yep.
Yeah, Ardarius Stewart, as a receiver, is one of the toughest dudes on the Alabama roster. Times it up perfectly, clean hit, mouthpiece flying,
Yeah, sure
ear
was.
pads flying. We got everything.
Watch the mouthpiece. It came flying out of Stewart's mouth. And Bulware, who didn't just talk a good game, he backs it up with some tough play. Farrell, a guy who's so explosive and disruptive and so smart. Said he's a redshirt freshman. He's one of those guys that gets the defensive game plan once and knows what to do and helps teammates out. But now he's got to be helped off. Take a break. National championship trophy in the playoff era. You also still give out the crystal ball, by the way. Coach's Bowl. Aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. What's the call for the Tide now on 3rd down and 7? Pin back.
Clemson tries to create some confusion with some movement up front.
It's a 3-down lineman look. And now they creep some pressure near the line.
Okay.
Hurts has to escape. Gets away from Bulware. Gets a block. Takes a shot. Doesn't get first down yardage. Tankersley forced him out.
Yeah, that was a great job of bringing pressure, but at the same time keeping eyes on the potential threat of the quarterback run game. You knew that if he wasn't comfortable, he's either going to throw it away or take off. Bulware was sitting there spying, waiting, and Clemson comes up with the stop that they needed after the pooch punt.
And they might get the field position Dabo Swinney's been looking for all night. Bama has owned the field position edge. J.K. Scott will try to boom it. Artavis Scott waiting at the 40. They peel back to set up a return, and that's an ugly kick by the standards of Scott. A really ugly kick, and it bounces out of bounds at the Alabama 41. Scott usually does much better than that.
Remember when Dabo was walking off the field with Sam, he mentioned we got to flip the field. Field position's been against us the entire first half. The best starting position that they've had until this drive's been their own 37, many times inside their own 20. Because of the decision on 4th and 2 to pooch punt, a 3 and out. Now they start a drive in plus territory.
Great point. The tactic works and the defense gets the stop, and the 30-yard putt sets up the Tigers at the 42. Deshaun still got it. Across the middle, it's Kane who goes down low. And it's ruled a catch at the 28.
A great effort by Deon Kane. Here comes the tempo from Clemson. He goes down to make that catch. Again, a young man from Tampa. A lot of family and friends here in the stadium.
And a whistle. Will they stop it to perhaps get a review of the snap?
Prior to the snap, the ruling on the field is a completed catch. That plays under further review.
Deshaun with a smile there. He feels he got the snap off before the whistle came. Sometimes it's a race to get the next play going before they can get a look at it. Let's see.
I thought he got his hands underneath to make the catch. It's a tough angle there.
Nothing from that angle to overturn it.
No, you have to see from the other side. Nice effort. That's a catch. Got his elbow underneath. Ball never touched the surface.
If it did, just the nose of the ball did when he had it in his control.
Yeah, he had control of it, which the nose can touch the ground as long as he does have control of the ball.
All right, Dave Kataya, second review of a similar type play. How did you see this one?
This is a completed pass because he's got control of the ball even to the point. Remember the one they reversed? The ball actually moved. There was independent ball movement. That's why that pass was incomplete. This one, there is no independent ball, but I've got a catch here.
I'm with you, Dave. This is going to be a catch. That's the good news for Clemson. The bad news for Clemson is that's a big conversion, momentum, tempo, Alabama on their heels, and all of a sudden you got to stop because they got to take a look at this replay.
That's a good point, Kirk. Even if the call stands, the Tide defenders all gathered up there catching their breath.
Absolutely.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Catch, first down.
After further review, Mike DeFee is rocked up still.
Yeah. He definitely spent a little extra time this week in there on the curls. There's no question about it. Big window, big national championship game. Big fella's ready to roll.
When you select the medium striped shirt, it helps too, right?
extra elastic around the arms, I think, too.
Call stands. Tigers in business here. Tide fans on their feet trying to make some noise. Keeper. And a crease before another hard hit. That was Rashaan Evans closing down that crease.
Yeah, and also, again, Reuben Foster, those active middle linebackers. My point about the tempo, and that's such a big part of the Clemson offense. They get a first down, the jet sweep, the tempo, the variety of formations and personnel groupings. There's so much that goes into it before the snap, and when they had to stop, you lose a little bit of that momentum.
Tide brings some late pressure. Watson flushed, tries to make a pinpoint throw, but it's broken up by Minkah Fitzpatrick against Leggett.
I think Minkah Fitzpatrick in a defense that has a lot of big names, he might be one of the most valuable players on this defense because of his versatility. Eddie Jackson has an injury, obviously out for the year. Minkah Fitzpatrick's able to move from corner to nickel to safety in the back. Does so many different things for this defense. And as a true sophomore, the baton is handed to him next year to be the leader of the Bama defense.
Tigers need 6 on third down.
Safeties are split. Try to hit the middle of the field.
Yep, Watson sees that. Renfro's got it. Cuts back and scores. Clemson coming back. And Hunter Renfrow, Kirk, at about 180 pounds, he might be 5'9.5", is proving to be a Bama nemesis again tonight.
Well, he has been a great player these last 2 years and one of the favorite targets for Deshaun Watson. I said earlier, when you ask Deshaun, who's your guy? Who do you like to go to in a crucial moment? He was quick to point out that Hunter Renfrow is that guy.
Hunter Renfrow with the 3 touchdowns in last year's 2 playoff games, and that one now 4 career playoff touchdowns. Nobody's got as many as that.
Here's a safety who comes down, but watch the man coverage affected by 6 coming down into coverage right there. He gets kind of in the way of Tony Brown, who's got Hunter Renfrow in man-to-man coverage. He has to slow down. His own man gets in his way. It's kind of like a pick there because of the tight end Jordan Leggett's route. And Deshaun Watson knows all along he's coming back to his guy Renfrow. And the Tigers and Deshaun Watson making things interesting, only down 3.
Long journey for Curtis Wilson on the All-State bus ends here in Tampa. Kirk, you've been handing out All-State's street cred all season. What do you got tonight?
Yeah, season-long celebration, All-State night. As you said, been using it on Twitter, the hashtag street cred. Just kind of highlighting the best of the best in college football every single week. And it's been a lot of fun with the fans. And right now, Nick Saban trying to talk to his defense about getting back to that edge that they were playing with in the first half.
So Sweeney's decision to pooch punt, not go for it, pin Bama deep, as you pointed out, leads to the stop by the defense, the short field, and the touchdown drive. And now Ardarius Stewart from the 3 turns the corner and is knocked down across the 30. Well, so far, Jalen Hurts, Kirk, has had to do very, very little with the passing game. Only 49 yards. Was he going to have to make some plays in the air? Alabama's going to survive this one tonight.
I think he's going to have to. And I think this is where Steve Sarkisian starts to field a little bit. Everybody wanted to know, how would Steve Sarkisian fit in as a play caller? Talked about it in the last series. Sarkisian, Hurts haven't really felt the wrath of Clemson because of the field position. Now with the emotions favoring Clemson in this stadium and the way their defense is playing, and it's a 3-point game, yeah, Hurts is going to have to start making some plays.
Just 19 offensive yards here in the third quarter so far, 2:02 for the game. So here's a play action, downfield shot. Stewart trying to run underneath it, but the quarterback overshoots him, and there was 2 Tigers in the area anyway.
You know, one of the things that Jalen Hurts all year, we've not seen him really throw the ball downfield, especially in the last 5 or 6 weeks. A lot of it's been short and underneath throws, even not quite to the line of scrimmage. You can see even after that last pass, only 2 passes in the air over 16 yards, so everything is up short, especially to the left, and that's why Clemson is really crowding those short passes and the running game.
A second down short throw to Scarborough, who's hit immediately and knocked down by Tankersley. He's not really known for his downfield accuracy, is he?
But when you're not threatening a defense downfield, it allows them to squeeze the line of scrimmage and make it even tougher on your short passing game and on your running game, because instead of keeping the safeties back, you've got 11 defenders within 7 or 8 yards of the line of scrimmage. And they're playing downhill because they don't feel threatened behind them.
Alabama has failed on its last 7 third-down tries. They need 10. From the pocket, Hurts steps up and delivers over the middle, but it's behind Garrett Dieter and incomplete.
Wow, he actually had him here by stepping up into the pocket. He buys some time and then eventually has a nice throwing lane to throw this football. Nice job. He doesn't quite get across the line of scrimmage, throws the ball low.
That should have been caught.
Yeah, Dieter could have made the catch, but the patience there by Hurts, it's just a matter of the execution that drives Nick Saban crazy there.
Dieter, the guy that had 94 catches at Bowling Green, comes here as a graduate transfer. Similar role to what Richard Mullaney did last year, but Saban right to be frustrated. Sure-handed receiver, should have had that one. Scott, after the poor punt last time, booms it deep all the way back to the 15, where Octavius Scott makes the catch. 53 yards on the punt. Duke and Louisville, high noon Eastern time on Saturday on the Cardinals home court. Also streaming live on the Watch ESPN and ESPN app. So Clemson now with the football, down 3 from their own 16-yard line. Both these teams have excellent unity and chemistry. They feed off each other, offense to defense and vice versa. And that's what's happened for Clemson to get back in this game. Gallman just nowhere to go on the edges. Foster shut it right down.
You just cannot deal with Reuben Foster and Rashaan Evans when you go wide. They're trying to make a block there with Ray McLeod. Ray McLeod is 5'10" and 180 pounds, dealing with 230 pounds of fury from Foster out on the perimeter.
There's a lot of fury in a lot of guys in
no doubt.
Clemson tonight.
Tight bump press man here from Bama. They may bail out of it and see if they stay tight.
Johnson pumps and now flips it short. Gallman on a screen, gets a couple of good blocks and bangs for a first down out to the 28. Actually closer to the 30.
You saw that press man. The linebacker lost Wayne Gallman, so he had room out there to the outside to pick up that first down. A great play call there by Jeff Scott and Tony Elliott, the two co-offensive coordinators for the Clemson offense. Caught him in press man. Nobody picks up the tailback out of the backfield.
Stutter step and a very short gain there. Fuller.
Sometimes when you have a defense that plays so much man, I think we always get caught up in the battles like Mike Williams and the receivers, Hunter Renfrow against the corners and the defensive backs, but sometimes you can make even better plays if you're tight end against a safety or a running back against a linebacker.
Fuller motions back in. Tide rush 4. Deshaun still pressured and sacked for a third time tonight by Mr. Anderson.
And this is just rushing 4 against a true freshman right tackle. And a combination of speed, but the upper body strength and the relentless attitude. Deshaun Watson last year got into that situation and he pulled out and took off and was able to run with the ball. Ryan Anderson, because of his hands and the way he's able to keep that offensive lineman off him and that attitude, he just eventually got to him.
He tried to strip the ball too, wasn't satisfied with the sack. He wanted the strip sack. Again, Evans gets in there. Watson escapes, takes a huge hit. Helicopters down at the 40. The spot will be just short. Pops up Foster on the tackle. It's going to be 4th down.
Man to man. One of the, again, few times Deshaun Watson. How about the effort by him to try to pick up that first down? Once he got through that 4-man rush, Chris, everybody had their backs turned. And the way he accelerates, I thought he'd get the first down.
I did too.
But a great effort. How about Bama keeping him just short? Watch the linebackers clear out. Once the defensive front four doesn't get him, everybody's in man coverage. He's got room to run. But look at the closing speed by Foster and by Minkah Fitzpatrick to keep him short.
Would you say Fury? Brought some there. Remember that play. Bama stopping Watson a yard short. Teasdale's punt is a good one. Rolls dead at the 21-yard line. From the very first play, Bama's defense has been flying around with violence tonight.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the way he accelerates, that's a first down. They keep him short, and another big hit there by the linebacker, Foster.
Boom. Just up under the chin of the quarterback, who lands very awkwardly. Win or lose, Deshaun is going to feel this one tomorrow morning. He has been in another battle. See if the Tide offense can get going. Very little productivity since midway second quarter, and Scarborough had his second touchdown run. And takes off here, and Big Bo bulls forward for about 6 to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, during that last defensive series, Steve Sarkisian spent almost the entire time directly with Jalen Hurts, talking to him, trying to tutor him and coach him, and trying to give him some positive energy right now. It seemed a little like the doldrums offensively. See if they can get the rhythm back.
Well, Scarborough helps the rhythm by rumbling for a first down. What did Sark tell us, Kirk? He didn't want his quarterback to overanalyze things. Try to keep it simple so he could play fast when he's more comfortable.
Yep, wanted him to play fast, and he also wanted to mix up his tempo. And this first couple plays anyway, it looked like he was going to go with a faster tempo. Now after picking up the first down, they're slowing things down. Bo Scarborough obviously is down. He's battled through injuries throughout his very brief career so far in Tuscaloosa. The ACL as a freshman back in the spring of 2015. Dealt with injuries even in high school.
Absolutely. That's certainly slowed his progress. Cleveland Farrell is up and walking around. Samantha, do you have any update from the Clemson sideline?
Yeah, he's dealing with a left ankle sprain. He was in a ton of pain. They had him in the medical tent for a while, and then after taping up his leg, you see him trying to run right here. But they took him into the locker room where he was until about a minute ago, trying to run right now, obviously trying to get back out there. But in the meanwhile, Austin Bryant's going to have to keep going.
So tough to push off and get any kind of upfield rush from that position. You have a tender ankle, and now here's the Scarborough play.
Boy, he's just starting to get healthy. These last 4 or 5 games really has made a difference with him back there healthy. You can just see not just the Washington game, but really starting in the LSU game, the Auburn game, the Florida game.
180 yards against the Huskies in the semifinal. Most of those after contact.
Yeah, over 100
But you
yards.
mentioned the ACL. He had one back in high school, had another one when he got to Alabama.
It was interesting. He came out and said that, some of the comparisons to Derrick Henry, who won the Heisman Trophy, kind of got to him a little bit early in the year. He just wanted to be Bo and wanted to be his own guy. And between that and dealing with recovering from an ACL, he was a little bit slowed this year early. It really is more Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs. But as we said, he's come on now that he's been healthy here in the last 4 games.
Heisman winner from a year ago, Henry here, was out there for the coin toss. A good mentor for Scarborough. And I think that you were spot on. He did a little bit of tribute to the former number 2 when he kind of high-stepped into the end zone. So some concern in the face of Henry. Reggie Rangland back there too, another member of that Tide championship team. Good news, he's walking off. Sam?
Yeah, Chris, not a good sign down here for Farrell. Very upset. They took his helmet. All signs pointing to him being done for the night.
And it is disappointing. But again, tough to go on an ankle sprain. And now they're without the edge pass rusher who was so effective against Ohio State.
And Austin Bryant, who was a guy that they anticipated stepping in before his injury that he sustained in August, had a foot surgery. They thought he would be their best defensive end, and he now steps in there.
He missed half the season with an injury. Hurts delivers a low throw, incomplete. bounced before it got to Ridley, and he looks a little out of sorts. He's had some chances to make plays with relatively easy throws.
You know, they brought a blitz there, and I think it affected his accuracy.
He says, I got it.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley all along felt that he got his hands under to make the catch.
He's lobbying for a third review, but I think that...
I don't know. That looks like... I appreciate his energy and trying to sell it, but pretty good look at it there that it hit the ground. But the blitz that time from O'Daniel affected the follow-through and the accuracy of Jalen Hurts.
Play clock at 1, and they have to spend a timeout. That was frustration from a Sarkisian over there. This was the problem they've had, Kirk, in recent games, getting it snapped on time.
30 seconds.
So they spend one. We'll see if that comes into play later on in the game. As the Tide will face a 2nd and 10 here.
Part of that is a freshman quarterback. I mean, after it happened in the Washington game, a lot of people wanted to say, you know, Lane Kiffin didn't do a very good job of preparing the offense because they were sluggish and they had some miscues, a lot of delay of games. But even tonight, you're seeing as much as they're trying to beat tempo, as much as they're trying to hurry, that's still the reality of playing in a big game with a young quarterback.
Let's think about the play callers for Saban in his previous national championships. He's kind of defied conventional wisdom by having a lack of continuity. Guys have come and gone from play callers, but in his 5 championships, you know, at Alabama, 4 different offensive coordinators. If you count Sarkisian tonight and they win tonight, it would be 5 different play callers. Use titles at Bama for him.
Combine the play callers and the different quarterbacks. I mean, it shows you that they rely very heavily on defense. But one thing that I think has gotten lost a little bit with the switch over to Sarkisian is the importance of what Lane Kiffin did in his 3 years here as a play caller.
Scarborough walks off. Damian Harris takes his place to the left of the quarterback. And they fake it to him. Hurts throws downfield. O.J. Howard is wide open. And once again, the tight end will victimize the Tigers with a huge play. Shades of last year. 68 yards.
And just like last year, it's a blown coverage by the Clemson defense. This time it's Van Smith.
You saw the disbelief. Tiger fans cannot believe that number 88 has gotten loose in another championship game with a huge pass play to put Bama back up by 10 if Griffith can convert the PAT. Wow. And Jalen Hurts finally produces a big play in the passing game.
But what have they been doing? Throwing short, the quick passes, get the ball out to a guy like Calvin Ridley, right? So when you give them that look, you lull the defense to sleep. Ridley's here, he steps up, comes back for the potential throw right here. That affects the defense as they come up, and O.J. Howard acts like he's going to block and then slides down the left sideline. Watch the defense get fooled right here. They're all coming up to take Ridley, and they slide the tight end Howard right down the sideline. The safety, Van Smith, bit on that potential throw to Ridley, got out of position, and it's another time that O.J. Howard and Alabama get Clemson to bust the coverage.
One little momentary mistake, as you pointed out, Kirk. One wrong step, wrong look, and Howard is by you. It's the longest pass play the Tigers have allowed this season. Comes at a very inopportune time for the Tigers.
And this is the kind of play that we'd see Lane Kiffin raise his arms up as soon as the play call. In fact, you could see Calvin Ridley that he was pointing. He's in the middle trying to show that he's out for a route. He's pointing to O.J. Howard like, throw it deep, throw it deep.
Hurts got more yards passing in that play than he had the entire game coming in. Artavis Scott works his way out near the 30, and once again Clemson is down by 10 as the main running threat tonight. Scarborough makes his way to the locker room.
It's a big loss for this Alabama defense. Well, what a play, or Alabama offense, but what a play call there by Steve Sarkisian with the formation, and again lulling them to sleep with so many quick passes. Very, very little success, if any, with the ball being thrown downfield. And that defense that we talked about squeezing the line of scrimmage, completely out of position.
And once again, as we've seen in his brief career, an absolute flatline reaction from Jalen Hurts.
Interception or touchdown is the same reaction.
18 and a half years old. And play action, and Watson's going to try to answer with a downfield shot to Williams, just over his fingertips, but here comes a flag for interference. Marlon Humphrey was defending, and that's first-round draft pick against first-round draft prospect, if you believe Todd McShay and company. In the case of Humphrey,
it looks like he grabs it around the neck or the face mask. Yeah, he's all over him. One official behind the receiver actually ends up making the call.
It's the right arm around the neck of the receiver before the ball gets there.
Pass interference. Defense, number 26. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Tried to make a precise throw because Fitzpatrick was tracking over to help out the corner. Williams, who went out earlier with the shot to the head, is slow to get up again. Williams has made 5 catches, but no big plays for only 40 yards. He's been targeted 7 times. Penalty moves the ball to the 43. It's the 7th for the Tide tonight. Keeper. Nothing. Heavy traffic. Foster again becoming a nightmare for the quarterback
just
tonight.
No room to run between the defensive line. Just creating that wall in the way they play defense with that 2 gap. They just push that offensive line back, get extension, and then the linebackers coming downhill. Tough sledding in the middle of that defense.
Screen. Kane weaves his way and dives. Well, good work to earn a first down.
Impressive effort by Deon Kane. I thought he might go out of bounds, but he just didn't give up on the play. 3rd time now that tunnel screen is able to get behind the offensive lineman and get some blocks downfield.
4th catch for Kane. Will have to step up. Williams is still out of the game. Watson's going to look for Scott. He was thrown behind him. Final minute of the 3rd quarter now.
That's really not Artavis Scott's strength. Downfield, a little bit undersized. Typically you see him more involved in the jet sweeps and the short, quick throws close to the line of scrimmage. They've not really been able to get him on track tonight at all.
No, he's Clemson's career reception leader. Does not have a catch. Watson far side. Kane again working one-on-one. He beats Averett, moves the 6 again.
The reason you got Nick Saban frustrated here is because what Clemson's doing, you're setting a back shoulder fade, and the reason they throw the back shoulder is the position of the corner. He's either going downfield if he beats him, but if the corner gets in phase with him, he comes back. He's frustrated on these back shoulder fades because the receivers are pushing the defensive back off.
A lot of shifting for the Tigers here. Gallman in the backfield. They fake it to him. Deshaun looking for Gallman, then dips it off short to Leggett. And Jordan Leggett bangs down for another first down inside the 20.
He faked the ball to Wayne Gallman. Looked like he might want to go to the wheel down the sideline, comes off of it, and then finds the tight end kind of as a check down Leggett, who gets away from the defensive back that time. Good job, good patience there by Deshaun Watson.
And good spot, Kirk. They had to check it down and get 17 yards, though, and now pitch it over to Scott. It's the kind of route you're talking about, but Artavis Scott in traffic just worked his way free and gets 9.
That's a run-pass option with 3 receivers into the boundary. He felt that he had 2 that could block. See all those receivers? Just gets it out. It's either a run or a pass, and because he has 2 blockers to pick up blocks for Scott, he gets the ball out quickly and picks up some big yards.
And that will end the 3rd quarter. 10 points for Bama in the 3rd quarter to build that lead back to 10, but the Tigers threatening to cut into it. 1 quarter left to play in the college football season. O.J. Howard touchdown puts Bama up, but the Tigers are threatening. End of 3. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Fourth quarter coming up. The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. If the Tigers are going to dethrone Alabama and win their first championship since '81, another fourth quarter comeback will be called for. This is the team that entered the fourth quarter down 8 at home against Louisville, held on in a classic game, down 8 at Florida State, came back to win. Scarborough is back, walking to the Alabama sideline. That's good news, but it's Watson and the Tigers threatening with a 2nd and 1 from the 8 as we begin the final quarter.
Mike Williams at the bottom of the screen, a target down here and an option.
A fake jet sweep, a fake option, and a keeper for a 1st and goal.
There's a lot going on there.
It was.
You know, that's their offense. The fake jet sweep catches some of the eyes, but I think the fake pitch to Gallman got the linebackers out of that tight area between the guards. And that's why he was able to pick up enough room there for that 1st down.
And a powerful run. For once, you saw Foster knocked back by Watson that time. 1st and goal. Gallman. Not much. Evans and others on the stop.
That's the 73rd play for the Clemson offense as we're just starting the fourth quarter. Tony Elliott telling us the goal is around 80 plays. Wearing down an Alabama defense is part of the plan in the fourth quarter. It's a defense from Bama that is incredibly talented, but doesn't have the depth that they've had in the past.
They ran 90 plays a year ago, tracking toward that. You're right, against the defense not as deep. Watson for the end zone. Williams, touchdown. He is the premier red zone receiving weapon in college football, targeted so often and so many touchdowns, 11 now this season.
Watch Jordan Leggett, Chris, on a pick or a screen. He's going to run into not only his defensive back, but he affects Minkah Fitzpatrick. Does a good job of making it look as if he's going out for the route to try to sell it, but does a better job of affecting Marlon Humphrey and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who was man-to-man that time with Mike Williams.
Here's Hugel. Selling is what you have to do because it's a pick or a rub depending on whether you're an offensive or defensive guy, right? Yeah. But you're right, he knocked into 2 guys. And big number 7 has had a rough start to this night. Gets in the end zone. Tigers back within 3.
That's what Nick said is hard. Tonight's good hands play brought to you by Allstate. And you go back to this touchdown. Tomorrow will be one they're talking about. Jordan Leggett, see he's kind of lowering his shoulder at the end, puts his hands up, clearly affecting Fitzpatrick, who is man-to-man coverage. An easy throw for Deshaun Watson, and Nick Saban was not very excited about that call, that no call there on the pick. He's yelling, what about the pick? That's on the heels of, remember, Deion Kane pushing off on a couple of those back shoulder throws. So Coach Saban fired up right now down there.
Pooch kick by Hugel. Henskis again for the 2nd time tonight comes up to make the catch at the 32-yard line. And so once again, Clemson's touchdown puts a little pressure back on this Alabama offense, taking over up 3. Tom?
Bo Scarborough taken off the field to be evaluated, back on, but straight into the medical tent. A lower right leg injury, Chris. Questionable to return and remains in that medical tent.
Lower right leg, Tom. They're not being any more specific than that. The knee, of course, has been the issue in his career.
That is a significant loss for now for the Bama offense.
Damian Harris, very effective running back as well. Hasn't carried the load down the stretch, but he's got talent, and you can see he barrels ahead for a nice gain of 1st down.
A different kind of back, 5'11", 214 pounds, low center of gravity, very, very thick, great balance.
Decent speed, too.
Quickness, great quickness. Early in the year, he was kind of the go-to guy.
Remember against USC, he got out loose. Adoree Jackson did track him down, but he made some big plays early in the season. You're right. Little bootleg action. Hurts is going to be dropped right at the line by Carlos Watkins. Clemson's defense yet to have a sack tonight. They've had multiple sacks in 12 straight games.
Well, Brent Venables that time dialing up pressure, trying to continue to put pressure on Jalen Hurts. Remember the Clemson goal with Brent Venables: make Hurts throw the football to have to win.
Throws far side, dangerous. Tankersley broke it up, intended for Ridley, but you're tempting fate when you go against 25 out there.
Yeah, and they're also jumping those short routes, those easy throws. They're almost trying to bait him into throwing it. That time, Tankersley almost stepped in front of it. Steve.
3rd and 11. Let's see what Sarkisian has in mind. As noisy as it's been all night, and the play clock is winding down. They snap it at 2. Retreat. Howard's got it, and he's tripped up. Nice tackle from behind there by big Dexter Lawrence and Muse.
I think it's a miscommunication. You got the tight end, but you also have the running back. Watch Damian Harris. He's anticipating the football, but instead the big tight end Howard goes up to get it. If they get that ball to 34 and Howard's out front to block, he's got not only a first down, he's going down the left sideline.
That was weird. There were 2 guys right in line for that screen.
The mix-up there as the play clock was winding down.
I thought Howard was still going to make the first down, but Lawrence just got a hold of his foot. And Scott on the punt. And knocks it into the jet stream. Artavis Scott lets this one go. It'll be a touchback. And now here comes Deshaun Watson. The Tigers have clawed back within 3. 12-14 to play in the national championship game. Is this going to be his moment?
The 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship is presented by AT&T. Get your entertainment and sports your way from AT&T. And in part by Cadillac. Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. And Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern Mutual. We help you live life differently.
Nice to see the Big Apple paying tribute to college football as the Empire State Building lit up in the colors of both Clemson and Alabama tonight. Meanwhile, down here in Tampa, our aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. Kirk, this is what fans have waited to see. Deshaun Watson and this Clemson offense going to work against this fierce Bama defense as the Tide try to protect a 4th quarter lead in the championship game. Good stuff. They bring pressure. Watson hit and dropped. It's a gang tackle, but it was Rashaan Evans just exploding through.
He just came right through the middle, timed it up perfectly, shoots right here through this A-gap between the center and the left guard, and nobody picks him up. In fact, the lineman went down trying to set up probably a screen, or just a quick throw, kind of a quick game. But bad time to hit the ground and hit your belly when you get a linebacker blitzing right up the middle.
Evans filling in for Sean Dion Hamilton, who injured her knee in the SEC championship game. It highlights the depth and athleticism of this retooled Bama defense. These are 7 new starters and a new defensive coordinator from last year's championship defense. Remember that. Deshaun on 2nd and 16 now has more time, delivers over the head of Renfro. He was well covered by Harrison.
There's confusion on the other side of the alignment where Clemson had Jordan Leggett. You saw Rashaan Evans late adjust out, but Leggett broke free, and there was some kind of miscommunication. Fortunately for Alabama, as Deshaun Watson dropped back to throw, he looked completely to his left and never even saw Jordan Leggett in the confusion from Alabama's defense on that side.
They need 16 on this 3rd down play. Watson flushed, flips it short to Gallman. Long way from the first down marker, and a very aggressive series for the Bama defense.
And a great job there by Bama's defense. Jeremy Pruitt got aggressive, Chris, on that 1st and 10. This crowd showing their appreciation from the Alabama faithful here for this defense. The blitz got him into negative yards, and that's why they were able to get him to second and third long and get off the field.
So that battle between these two units that features so much future NFL talent, perhaps 5 or 6 first-round draft prospects when the Clemson offense faces Bama that round to the guys in crimson. Now there's some confusion in the Bama punt coverage team. They've got 2 guys deep. Trayvon Diggs joining Garrick Dieter, and Teasdale boots it very short, keeps it away from both of them, and it'll roll dead at the 40. So Jalen Hurts, the true freshman, and the Bama offense back to work, protecting a 3-point lead, 10.5 to play in Tampa. Saturday primetime on ABC. Returns January 21st. Biggest games of the season, beginning with Spurs and Cavs on that day. Clippers and Warriors on the 28th of January. Also on the Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Jalen Hurts, one big touchdown pass to O.J. Howard. 11 of 26 for 122. So far that's been enough as he tries to do what Jamel Holloway did back in '85, win a championship as a true freshman quarterback. It's Josh Jacobs in the backfield against Scarborough out, hurt for now. And Hurts rolls and is knocked down. Did the ball come out? Looks like he still got it. Tigers were pouncing on it. Wilkins and Lawrence.
He's okay. I'll tell you what he had to do there, Chris, is our Darius Stewart fell down on his route. He showed his composure there as he looked over to try to make that throw. He sees a receiver on the ground, and instead of giving up on it, at least picks up a few yards and avoids a negative play.
Jacobs, quick little burst, gets across the 45. It'll be third down.
Yeah, right now they're relying on Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs with Bo Scarborough out of the lineup. Those are the 2 backs really the first half of the season that they relied on the most.
Look at that lack of success. 0 for their last 9 on third down. Sarkisian was brought in initially this year before he was the play caller to do some third down analysis. This was his task for most of the year. A lot of time, and finally he runs out of time and space. Perhaps if he'd looked to run earlier, Kirk, he might have been able to pick it up, but he's forced out, and here comes a punt.
Well, he showed a little bit of impatience and got out of there. If he would have sat in the pocket, O.J. Howard breaks free. They're running kind of a mesh route, and nobody picks him up. He clears. There's no one there. He's looking around, but he got out. He didn't have pressure, but he got away from what he thought was pressure. But if he sat in the pocket and let that play develop, he had a wide open tight end for a first down.
Mike DeFee just issued a sideline warning to Clemson. Tigers didn't come after the last Scott punt. They peeled back to set a return. Earlier, of course, they did get a piece of it. This boot sent away from Artavis Scott and will roll dead at about the 21-yard line. Exactly 9 minutes to play in the national championship game. Watson, another opportunity to take the lead. Dabo Swinney does. They got past the guys from Columbus there on the right to get here to Tampa. I-4, one of the key roads here, and of course number 4, Sweeney's quarterback. He showed me a picture on his phone. He'd taken I-4, believing that was a sign that number 4 was going to do big things tonight here in Tampa. Didn't look so early. They were struggling. He looked a little unsettled, to say the least. But now, the second possession, they get the ball again down 3, pinned back. And Watson trying to escape big Deron Payne.
Defensive front continuing to try to contain him, not let him get to the outside, forcing him to step up. Cannot say enough about the determination that he has shown tonight, because he wasn't just out of sorts. He was rattled by an aggressive, tenacious Alabama defense early in this game, and through it all, he's within 3 points of tying it up.
Pressure again, ball gets out, but one more time, there was a free runner coming in the face. That was Evans on the blitz.
But Jeremy Pruitt's kind of dialing it up. Second time in the last couple series, Rashaan Evans right up the middle. But what he's doing a really good job of is disguising it with depth at his position and then waiting until the last possible second to shoot through those gaps. And he's catching those offensive linemen completely off guard. And that's why he's able to get through that.
Evans has shooting through there, by the way. He looks like a running back blasting through a hole.
That's how you draw him up.
So 3rd and 7 playing. The Tigers will have to spend a timeout here. They don't want to have to, but this is a crucial play. You begin to look at the clock, and your defense has been holding up, Kirk, but you wonder how many more opportunities can you create for your offense to recover from this deficit.
Yeah, and we talked about his resiliency in fighting back. He's shown accuracy, not a lot of chances to improvise, but when he has had some opportunities, he's tried to make the most of them. How about the recognition? Safety comes down, affects the coverage, gets in the way. Hunter Renfrow ends up getting out into space against man coverage. So it's been a battle, a chess match between this Clemson offense and the Nick Saban, Jeremy Pruitt defense.
He's now thrown for 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns. The difference is they've really limited him as a runner as compared to last year. And most big Clemson games is 22 net rushing yards on 18 carries. You factor in the 4 sacks there. 3rd and 7, big play. Slant, low throw, Renfrow, not quite yardage, I don't believe. It's going to depend on where they put this ball down. No, they're going to give it to him. Wow, another clutch catch by Renfrow, and it is a Clemson first down.
They motioned out Wayne Gallman. It affected the communication. You saw Tony Brown looking around with his back to the ball. Ball snapped, and he's covering Hunter Renfrow man to man.
8th catch for Renfrow. Deshaun for Williams. No flag. Well defended by Averett there. Clemson crowd booing it.
Well, Dabo Swinney saying that he's trying to come back to the football. He is fired up. Both head coaches working the officials. Now Dabo just saw the replay and saw his receiver again. Mike Williams trying to work back over top of Anthony Everett.
Earful. Better be careful.
Yeah. Defensive back did not have his head turned around. I'm surprised there was not a call.
Watson has a lot of time, but it's running out quickly. He's hit. They try to knock the ball loose. Deshaun somehow stays alive and throws it downfield over the head of Leggett as he was buried by John Allen.
That is a lot of energy consumed by Deshaun Watson just to keep the play alive. Watch Chris as he, right here, you think he's going to be taken down by Anderson, but the effort, but watch after he throws. Allen lowers the boom and all of his weight coming down on top of him. Allen's 291 pounds with a lot of force because of the momentum coming down on Deshaun, and now Deshaun Watson has a 3rd and long.
Exactly. You're putting all that energy. You got to get the heart rate down and come up with something here. Keep the drive alive. They need 10. Snap it at 2 seconds. Deliver far side. Leggett is open, but it's off his hands, incomplete. And Watson just slumps, drops his head. That would have been a huge play.
Well, there's a breakdown in coverage by Alabama out here. Watch 2 defensive backs get locked up right here. It frees up Leggett to the outside. Nobody is out there on him because the corner, 26, Marlon Humphrey, came into the inside, and it freed up Jordan Leggett. And Deshaun Watson saw it, but just not quite able to put it where he had a chance to make the play.
Big 6'5" tight end who caught 4th quarter winning touchdown passes against Louisville and Florida State this year. Missed an opportunity to make a big play to keep the Clemson drive alive. And now Teasdale, another effective low punt. 7:36 to play, so imperative for Clemson's cause for that defense to get the football back.
Well, Jordan Leggett and Deshaun Watson are going to want to talk about that. A rare Alabama coverage bust, and Leggett did not continue to run the route. He's outside and he thinks he's so open he's just going to throw it to him. He stops running his route. Deshaun Watson's expecting him to continue on the route, and a little miscommunication just like that cost Clemson potentially the first down.
You would expect a steady diet of power Alabama football here to try to chew clock and protect this lead. But Scarborough not in there. They must rely on Damian Harris at tailback. He's got it. Spins and earns a few yards.
Chris, I don't want to say that Damian Harris isn't capable, because he is. He's a 1,000-yard back in the SEC for Alabama. He's a good back. But I just feel that Bo Scarborough coming into this game has been running not only with confidence, but with a power that this offensive line and this offense has been able to kind of get behind. And it's become their identity coming into this game and in the first half. And to take him out, it's got a different feel without him in there.
He's in the tent, not in the game at the moment. On 2nd and 7. Hurts rolls from an empty backfield, is pressured and has to just throw it downfield. Dieter had no chance to make a play. In fact, the Clemson assistant there with a headset went and made the catch. Receiver had no chance to stretch.
The play never had a chance. The guys were completely covered downfield. It almost felt like he was rolling out. It's a good effort. Almost felt like he was rolling out to run the ball. But the play, as far as the pass game, never had a chance at all.
They need 7 to end their third down futility here. Looking deep for Stewart. Once again, he shoots it over the head of the receiver. Had no chance to make a play.
Yeah, it's just throwing it and hoping. But it's safe. You got a 3-point lead. Under 7 minutes to go. You got a defense you believe in. That's Steve Sarkisian saying, you know what? Let's not lose the game. Let's not take a chance. Just throw one up. Throw it as far as you can.
I would question the throw, not the call. I mean, this is a Clemson team that has more defensive holding and pass interference penalties than anybody in FBS by 5.
Yep.
And they haven't been able to create that because the ball is constantly overthrown.
Alabama's not been able to draw many pass interference this year either.
Scott gets it away. Artavis Scott again tried to make a fair catch. The ball bounced. He couldn't get to the ball as one of the coverage men kind of got in his way. And it rolls dead all the way down at the 12-yard line. Well, the 56-yard punt. Let's just check this out again. I think it was Levi Wallace who kind of got in the way.
That ball almost touches Scott's left foot.
Yeah, good point. Not quite close enough to crowd him, but it's a break because it does bounce down there, and a 56-yard punt pins Deshaun way back now. How many more chances will this Clemson offense have to reclaim the lead? Gallman in the flat, gets a block, and hops back close to a first down to the 21.
Good tough running. It's an extension of their running game. Get the ball out into the flat, into the perimeter where he has a little bit of wiggle room. It's been very tough for him to be able to run under 3 yards a carry tonight. So you get him outside where he can catch the ball and have a little bit of room to try to make people miss.
They fake it to McLeod, and Watson with the keeper, shoved out by Harrison. It's a first down. 6 minutes to play.
We have talked so much tonight about Steve Sarkisian and the Alabama offense. And often when you're the defensive coordinator in Tuscaloosa, we talk about Nick Saban. But Jeremy Pruitt's experience against a Clemson offense has to be coming into play tonight in the way they've been calling this defense. They've simplified, and they're playing much faster tonight than they did a year ago.
Watson delivers. Leggett again finds a little crease. And Deshaun gets it to him out across the 40.
Kind of what Alabama had success with earlier. Kind of fake that little quick throw to Mike Williams, fool the defense, and then sneak that ball between the corner Everett and the safety Ronnie Harrison. quick throw there before the safety can come over. Great recognition there by Deshaun Watson.
Out of the game at the moment is Jonathan Allen, the Bednarik Award winner. And Watson loops it for Williams, who goes up and makes a huge grab at the 30. Showing the big body and the hand strength.
Former basketball player, body control and ball skills. How he goes up and high points the ball. We have a flag down late. Clemson reacting as if it may be on one of the linemen right after the play as Clemson's trying to go tempo.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 94. The 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So Deron Payne flagged, lost his cool, and that'll move the Tigers 15 yards closer to a potential go-ahead touchdown. Moves it all the way to the 16.
A mental error and something you don't see from Alabama defense very often. Payne this time the culprit, and not only the big gain, but with the penalty on top of it. 4 plays, 72 yards, a minute 5. They're inside the 20.
26-yard gain, tack on to 15. Payne is what that caused Nick Saban on that sideline.
The ruling on the field is a completed catch that plays under further review.
Now they're going to back it up, and Tom Robbins is going to make sure that Williams did come down with the football.
How about him adjusting back to the ball, Chris? High points the ball. Tremendous effort. That ball's down on his thigh. I'll have to maybe see that. This angle might show it. That's why people feel he's the best receiver in the country. The deep ball, the vertical ball, how he adjusts back, finds the ball, and the body control. That's a clearly a catch.
Yeah, it did not touch the ground. He had to kind of use all of that hand strength and maybe a thigh to get that thing collected.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a catch. First down.
While he was being grabbed and also kind of hitting the head on the way down, too.
Yeah. Meanwhile, even though it's another example, Clemson gets the catch. It's confirmed. But what happens? Instant replay slows down that energy and momentum that Clemson had created on this drive. I talked about 4 plays, 72 yards, and a penalty on Alabama. Bama's defense is on their heels. And they get a quick break there as they review it.
Able to get Allen back on the field along with Williams and Tomlinson. With the Tigers 16 yards away from taking the lead. Watson, keeper. Navigates to the edge and leaps toward the pylon. Spotted out just short. Given everything he's got again tonight, Deshaun Watson.
Gosh, what an effort by Watson. The only reason they didn't call it a touchdown is the ball is in his right arm. He gets pushed out of bounds. If the ball's in his left hand, he might be able to reach for the pylon. But with the ball in his right arm, he's out of bounds. It's not where his feet are, it's where the ball is.
AT&T pylon cam getting banged up again tonight as it did in the championship game a year ago. 1st and goal.
I thought that last look from the AT&T pylon cam looked like he stepped out almost at the two-yard line there.
So where was the ball when the foot hit out of bounds? That'd be the question. If he see where he touches down and where the ball is.
Yeah, right here he steps out. Where's the ball?
Just inside the 1-yard line. The official just picked it up and put it down a little farther away from the goal line. So let's see if the official review here does affect the spot slightly. But the bigger picture is the Tigers have marched 87 yards.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Short of the goal line, 1st and goal.
87 yards in 5 plays, a minute 29. And after being down double digits for most of this game, Clemson can jump in front in the final 5 minutes. If they can get 1 more yard here. Are they succeeding in wearing down this Bama defense?
Yeah. 89th snap coming up. Wouldn't be surprised to see Watson follow Wayne Gallman right up the middle here.
Gallman leaps, but a flag. There was movement before the snap. Gallman dove into the end zone. Deshaun says it's on Bama, and it's a touchdown.
Offside. Defense, number 28. Lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Gallman scores a masterful drive by the quarterback and a mental mistake by Alabama to help that drive. And Clemson is on top. A PAT away from a 4-point lead, their first lead of this championship game. It's an important PAT for Hugel. And the snap was handled by Seth Ryan very well. Clemson, a couple of fourth-quarter touchdowns have put Jalen Hurts in the Tide behind now.
What a big drive. The 6 plays, 88 yards. The big play by a 26-yard gain by Mike Williams. The 15-yard penalty in the back end of that against Deron Payne, where he kind of loses his cool, gets caught up in an altercation there with Taylor Hearn, swings at the face, costs him 15 yards on top of the catch. Gives Clemson great field position. They capitalize all the way inside the 1-yard line with a great effort. Tremendous heart from Deshaun Watson. And the very next play, they're able to get a push right up into the middle and get the ball to their powerful slasher, Wayne Gallman, for the touchdown to give them the 28-24 lead.
Bama had allowed 3 rushing touchdowns all season. That's it, 3. That's Clemson's second tonight.
When he went to that corner of that end zone, I had flashbacks of Vince Young against USC kind of feel.
Now, we've seen everything from Watson tonight. The command wasn't there at the beginning, but he found it. The toughness to take hit after hit. And the beautiful grace and athletic ability on plays like that one. And now the best laid plans for Bama. Played conservative. Another pooch kick, by the way, from Hugel, and a fair catch taken back there at the 33-yard line by Cam Sims, one of the backup receivers. You can say best laid plans. Play conservative. Play with the lead. Use the defense. Can't do that now, Kirk. Jalen Hurts going to have to find a way with 4:38 if Bama's going to win this championship.
Well, if you're Steve Sarkisian, you've held a few things back. You've waited just in case, and now you're going to have to pull them out. You've got 2 timeouts. Timeouts and the time aren't an issue just yet. You need a little bit of urgency. You don't have Bo Scarborough to be able to rely on, who was effective early in this game. And you've got to come up with some plays from your playmakers, Stewart and Ridley.
Alabama has not trailed in the fourth quarter all season long. And now in the ultimate game, need a touchdown. Hurts steps up. Chased and has to just throw it away. Dexter Lawrence, freshman on freshman pressure there.
He throws that ball away, and he throws it almost into the stands, but he's outside of the pocket area. And once he gets outside of that pocket area, you don't need an intended receiver in the area at all. He can throw it away.
As long as it gets across the line of scrimmage, right?
And that ball was clearly across the line of scrimmage.
Sounds like Death Valley in here. Very loud. A lot of traffic and a catch made, but a tackle behind the line by Boulware on Damian Harris. It'll be 3rd and very long.
I'll tell you, Chris Borland is not only the most valuable player, this guy is so instinctive. Watch him recognize the formation, the motion. He's calling it out, and watch him go. Watch him beat the lineman because of the recognition of the potential screen. He knows his quarterback's struggling to throw the ball downfield, so he's thinking quick throws and screens, reads the formation down in distance, there to blow the play up.
Down in distance is ugly. They need 3rd and 16. They failed on 11 straight 3rd down plays. Hurts running out of time. Running to create some space, lobs it back across to Ardarius Stewart, who comes back, makes a catch, but he's a yard short of the marker at the 41. What's Saban do here?
Nick Saban has to look at this with his offense and the way they played, has to think about going for this at 4th and 1. brings another tight end, doesn't hesitate. How about Steve Sarkisian? He's been an offensive analyst the whole year. Lane Kiffin's been calling the plays, and now he's about to call one of the biggest plays of his life without Bo Scarborough.
Harris slams forward, and the Tide keep the drive alive at the 48. They kept it simple.
Keep it simple, and you go right to the play sheet. This is what it calls for in this situation. We get to a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1. This is the play. The double team on the left side. That's the strength of their offensive line. They follow the All-American Cam Robinson, Ross Pierce-Baker, and they pick up the first down.
And a couple of tight ends also blocking on the left side. Inside of 3 minutes. Hurts backward pass to Stewart. He can throw it. Looks downfield for Howard, who makes a catch at the Clemson 30. A trick play dialed up by Sark.
We just talked before they started the series. Steve Sarkisian has probably kept a play or two back for this drive, for this moment in the game. And he goes to a throw from the receiver, Ardarius Stewart, to the big tight end that time, O.J. Howard, who makes another big play for the Crimson Tide in a national championship game.
High school quarterback, remember, Ardarius Stewart shows that he's still got the arm. They pick up 24 yards. Hurts now took a peek downfield and now just barrels forward, still running, in the clear, and scores! And the veterans' brilliance is answered by the rookies' moxie, Kirk, and Bama reclaims the lead.
A legend is born here tonight in Tampa in Jalen Hurts. When he pulls it down to run, he's a tailback. He's not a guy that's looking to get down. He's 6'2" and 210 pounds and can make people miss with how elusive he can be, but he's also pretty powerful. And that just opened up in the middle of that defense, and he recognized it and took off.
So let's look at that sequence. The 4th down conversion behind the strength of the offensive front, converted by Harris.
And in his own territory, late in the game, Nick Saban show he's willing to take some chances.
Now Stewart with the throw to Howard.
You've got Stewart, who's going to end up going out here. He's going to throw back and find his tight end, who's right here. Does a nice job of being able to kind of wait for it to get out in position to be able to make the throw. Ball is clearly thrown as a lateral. What an effort by Stewart to make the throw. And then this is just incredible to watch the linebackers clear out. Linebackers clear out, man coverage. Now he just shows you what makes him such a special athlete. Pretty good effort by Forrestal as well on a block to see his quarterback taking off. He turns around and picks up a nice block.
I was going to say, Hurts wasn't the only true freshman to make a nice play. Miller Forrestal is a true freshman tight end who just planted the defender. He overcame a 3rd and 16 early in that drive from their own 26-yard line. They take it 68 yards in 2.5 minutes, but Watson's got time. Plenty of it. And Fuller tries to set him up in good field position. Oh, C.J. Fuller was in the clear and was just brought down by Tony Brown there, a saving tackle.
Wow. I mean, how about the heroics here late in this game? These two teams, much like last year, just going back and forth. It looked like Alabama's there. Once they missed that first tackle, he gets out in the open with room to run.
There was nobody but the kicker behind him.
Yeah. Tony Brown makes that play. Comes up a little bit lame on his shoulder, but stays in the game.
So here's Deshaun from the 32. A field goal to perhaps force overtime, a touchdown to win it.
And the last touchdown was under 2 minutes. Where they moved right down the field.
And there's a short catch. Leggett able to get out of bounds. Tigers have a couple timeouts to work with.
Important thing for that front four. Remember, we have Clemson now at 90 plays offensively. We've not seen a lot of rotation. fatigue, mental fatigue, physical fatigue for Bama. Can they tough it out and still contain and pressure number 4, get after him and not give him time to throw?
They bring pressure, but it's picked up. And Williams down the sideline makes another big catch. He beat Averett. And the Tigers threaten again.
That's a matchup you're going to take. If you're going to leave Mike Williams one-on-one with a corner who's undersized, notice how he puts it up in the air to give Williams at 6'3", who can leap up close to 40 inches, give him a chance to go up and make a play. Nice job of seeing that by Deshaun Watson.
Now they get it to Scott, who laterals to Gallman, who is hit immediately but stays alive. And Gallman spinning and driving down inside the 35. There was a lot going on there. A little trickery from the Tigers this time.
Yeah, throw out to the receiver, lateral back to Wayne Gallman. You're right. And then Alabama actually defended it pretty well.
It looked like the Tigers were saving up a couple plays for a big moment too.
You have 2 timeouts, closing in on 1 minute here.
Watson takes off, but will be dropped for a short gain. It'll be 3rd down. Ryan Anderson got him inside of a final minute, clock running.
Clemson electing to hold on to those timeouts. Worst case scenario, they're thinking about trying to get this game into overtime.
Well, I'll tell you, they're not playing with a whole lot of urgency here, are they?
3rd and 3. He needs 5 yards to feel really good about having a chance to get it into overtime.
Long for Hugel is 47. He's hitting from that distance in warm-up. On 3rd down, Watson slant one more time. Renfro, and they have a 1st down, and they are in Hugel's field goal range now with 22 seconds to go.
Wow, they have a cushion there with one of their better receivers in the slot. They saved the timeouts and just fire the ball into the ground here.
Tell you what, though, they did wait a long time to spend a timeout and really create some urgency here. They want to obviously save 1 timeout for a potential field goal attempt, but I'm a little surprised they weren't looking more aggressively to win the game with a touchdown here.
Sure, at the very least, maybe a couple shots into the end zone.
Well, they can do that. And still the timeouts, but just 19 seconds now.
You got to believe they're going to have a safety over the top of Mike Williams, who's down here at the bottom.
A sack could take them out of field goal range. Bama brings some heat. Watson delivers. Catch made down inside the 10. My Leggett. 14 seconds to go.
Now Clemson will use one of their timeouts here. Dabo all the way down to the 10-yard line. What an effort, Chris, by Jordan Leggett. Full extension. Redeeming himself for earlier the miscommunication with Deshaun Watson. Fully extended, makes that catch and shows you for a tight end how athletic he is. I don't think that ball touched the ground. I think he got his right elbow underneath.
He missed a much easier catch and made a very, very difficult grab that time. Wow. Jordan Leggett has been the clutch guy. We talked about the game winners against Louisville, the game winner against Florida State, and a huge play. And now a really intriguing setup with the ball at the 9-yard line.
But you're at the 9-yard line. You still have a timeout, which is big for them, whether they set up for potentially a game-time field goal or you take a shot in the end zone. Probably have a couple plays here, depending on what happens with that first play. But Chris, we left Glendale last year thinking, man, what a great national championship with these 2 teams. And here we are with the second opportunity to see these teams again in a championship. And man, it's been.
How do you like the sequel, Herbie?
The sequel's been pretty good. And I think we're just getting started here. We may have some more football to be played.
Yeah, we'll see. Hugel not automatic, but it looks like the best Bama can hope for would be a field goal attempt in overtime. Let's see if the Tigers can win it right here. Williams to the left. Watson. End zone. Overthrown. Like it well defended that time.
It took 5 seconds off the clock.
Notice they put Minka Fitzpatrick on number 16, one of their best cover guys. 9 seconds, 1 timeout.
And Chris, that last play, Mike Williams is into the boundary to the left. Not only does he have the corner Everett on him, he also has a safety, number 6, Hootie Jones. So you're using 2 defenders to try to take him away. That should open up one-on-one opportunities off to the right, which includes Jordan Leggett, and also don't forget about Hunter Renfrow, who's in that slot in the middle.
Watson lobs it for the end zone. Williams is knocked down. Here comes a flag. Interference in the end zone. We'll put the ball at the 2-yard line. There are 6 seconds to play.
Force Mike Williams back to the inside, but then just grabs a hold of him. Everett pushes him.
Defense, number 28. Foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
He did a great job with his technique to force him to where his help is, where the safety is. But then once he gets by him, he reaches around his waist to hold him.
How great is this? This could be the final play of the college season, perhaps, if Clemson gets a touchdown to win it. If Bama can hold him out, perhaps a field goal attempt for overtime. Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow. Little man makes another enormous play. 1 second remaining. The slot receiver, former walk-on, in back-to-back championship games has made 2 touchdown receptions against Alabama. And they'll talk about that play in the Clemson Nation forever.
The touchdown here to potentially win it. The 2 for the night, 2 last year, and maybe the best tackle that he's ever had in his life after Ryan Anderson had a sack and a fumble recovery for potential touchdown.
Great point. Early in the game, he did save a scoop and score touchdown, and then did what he does best, go down and make clutch catches.
Offside defense jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. Half the distance. Decline. The penalties decline. We'll have the try.
The 10th reception of this game for Renfrow. 17 in the last 2 championship games for a guy who's been told by a lot of people for a long time, too small to play this game at the highest level. Take that. Hugel makes it a 4-point lead.
They used a pick earlier, or a screen, and they go to it again. You know Bama's going to play man-to-man. Scott is going to work here. Renfrow is going to work there. And Tony Brown is the guy who gets caught up in the traffic as he ends up going to the outside. Right there. Man-to-man. That's the way you attack man-to-man. With a man beater, they roll him to the right. And how fitting for Deshaun Watson, after everything he has meant to this program, throws a game-winning touchdown to Hunter Renfrow.
Once again, one of those pick/rub plays. It'll be very controversial. And Dabo Sweeney tackled by his staff. The Alabama graduate a second away from completing Clemson's climb to the top of the sport. And Deshaun Watson caps a spectacular career with a championship. One final piece of business. Hugel just boots it along the ground. They fall on it. Clemson Tigers, new kings of college football. Clock still has a second on it, by the way. clear up the confusion before we make it official. Mike DeFee's got his hands full to clear the field here, and let's bring Dave Kataya in to try to help us sort this out. Did the ball roll 10 yards before they fell on it?
There's 2 points here. Number one, the ball was recovered on the ground. If the ball is generally recovered on the ground, the clock's not going to start. But let's see, they're going to have to look at this, the timing on this, to see exactly what happened. Replay buzzed it, I'm sure, right away to take a look at this. The clock does not start till that ball is legally touched. It's legally touched when by the kickers if it's traveled 10 yards. It's legally touched with the receivers.
Let's see if it traveled to the 45-yard line.
Let's see who touches it here.
Of course, they can't touch it till it goes 10. And it did just travel 10 yards before it was collected by Hugel himself.
Now the key is the clock starts as soon as he touches it, but his knee's on the ground. So that means it should be an immediate. I think they're going to have 1 second left here because he's not up with this.
1 second for Clemson to just take a knee.
Exactly.
Right. They did recover the ball, so it's
a legal recovery. It's 10 yards.
Yeah, so it's going to be Clemson football. There's not going to be a Hail Mary for Alabama here if they give the ball to the Tigers, as they should.
They've got to look at several factors. Or again, whether it was illegally touched before it goes 10 yards and what the status is of the clock.
Are you convinced that his knee was down when he actually collected the ball?
It appeared to me that his knee was down when he collected the ball. The key is they're going to have to look and see exactly when that ball's touched relative to the knee being down and exactly where the ball was recovered. I didn't see a kicker touch it till it traveled 10 yards, which makes it legal.
One more look at it. Where was Hugel when he got the ball? It looks like the knee is down. But it's a moot point. They're going to go out there and take a snap and take a knee.
Exactly.
And in Clemson, by scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter against an Alabama defense that had allowed 32 all season in the fourth quarter, is going to win the championship.
Can't say enough about this Clemson team and what they faced early in the game. Down 14-0. Their leader, the guy that they believe in, Deshaun Watson, was rattled at that point in the game. The game looked like there were many people probably watching thought, wow, this Alabama defense is going to get Deshaun Watson this time. They were hitting him hard and often, rattling his cage. 15-yard penalty. They were out to intimidate him, and it worked. But Clemson deserves credit for settling into the game, making adjustments, and Deshaun Watson ends up fighting back, throwing again for over 400 yards. Last year 400, this year 400.
We thought, how can you top the 405 yards with 4 touchdowns? Well, by throwing for 420, 36 of 56, and 3 more touchdowns. Also, of course, running for a touchdown, avoiding any interceptions.
After reviewing the play, the kickers legally possessed the ball beyond 10 yards. The ball belongs to Clemson with 1 second on the clock at the 46-yard line.
That's fitting, Kirk. Send Deshaun Watson out in victory formation. Let him end this championship game and his career with a kneel down, huh?
Absolutely. And keep that football and put it in his trophy case. He has meant so much to the Clemson program, so much to college football. Talk about a guy that has done it the right way, graduated in 3 years, led this team the last 3 years to heights they've never been for Dabo Swinney.
Dabo will beat his alma mater, and Clemson will beat Bama for the first time in 40,619 days, going back to 1905. Official punctuation. Clemson dethrones and avenges Alabama. A sequel every bit as special as the classic a year ago. Alabama's ferocious defense had its way early. Deshaun Watson and the Tigers had the final word with a spectacular fourth quarter.
Just a great game. Both teams left it out there, played well. You know, Clemson defense, make sure you recognize the job that they did. They got down by 14, and then they kind of seemed to just settle in. Their goal was to make Jalen Hurts have to throw to win. And while he made some plays, especially late, what looked like potentially a game-winning touchdown, it was still a great effort for them to kind of dig in and give Deshaun Watson time to adjust and come back.
What do you say we hear from Deshaun with Tom Rinaldi?
Chris, thank you very much. Deshaun, a year ago you came so close and then fell short. National champion. What does it mean?
I'm speechless right now, man. It's what God wants, and you know, He put us for a reason. You know, I talked to one of my coaches. He said it's a movie, and it's going to end the right way. And just keep believing in God, and just believe in your teammates, and everything's going to fall in place. And that's what happened. And you know, we're national champs. It's amazing.
There's emotion on your face right now. Why?
We worked so hard for it. We fell short last year. And this game wasn't just for me. It was for. You know, it's not just for me. It's for all the alumni, the fans, my city in Gainesville, my family, myself. This is bigger than just me. So this just impacts so many people across the world. And man, I don't even know what to say.
What did you tell your team in the huddle before the final drive?
What I tell them all the time: don't panic. It's gonna be special. It's gonna be great. We built for moments like this, and let's go finish it.
What did you see on the game-winning touchdown to Hunter?
We knew that they were gonna play cover 0 when we were inside the 5, and all we needed was a good pick by Tay. And Tay picked them, and Renfro got in the end zone, and I just kind of threw the ball and made sure he caught it, and that's what he did. And it was something we worked on all year long, and it was the perfect time to call it.
For such a long time, your head coach has said that you're the face of this program. You represent all that it should be. What do you say to your coach who's taking this journey with you?
Thank him. Just thank you, Coach Swinney, Coach Morris, Coach Scott, all the coaches for giving me the opportunity back in high school to lead this program. And they knew something great was going to happen. And moments like this is just going to come. And it happened. So thank you.
National champion, Deshaun, congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Let's go to Sam with Dabo.
Well, Tom, for good reason. Coach is pretty emotional here right now. Dabo, you've been in this game before, but how would you describe what it's like to win it?
It's indescribable. I mean, you can't make it up, man. I mean, this is only God can do this. Take a guy like me from Pelham, go to Alabama, win a national championship, come to Clemson, and have a chance to win a national championship against the best team in the country up until the last second of this game, and to see my guys fight and just believe. I told them tonight, that the difference in the game was going to be love. It's been my word. My word all year has been love, and I said tonight, we're going to win it because we love each other. We're going to love each other. I don't know how we're going to win it. I told them at the halftime, guys, we're going to win the game. I don't know how, but we're going to win it. And man, I'm just so thankful and blessed, and it just doesn't even seem real to me. I'm thankful to the good Lord and all our players. It's been an unbelievable 8 years, and this is for all of our teams because they're all a part of this. They all get a piece of this trophy, our staff, but just the heart of these guys. Maybe now everybody will understand when I tell them Deshaun Watson's the best player in the country. He showed it again tonight on the biggest stage, but 8 years ago, my goal was to put Clemson back on the top, and tonight that's a reality. And listen, I love the University of Alabama. I love the people there. Coach Saban's so gracious. The heart of their team. This will go down as one of the greatest of all time. There's no doubt about it. But it was our night, and it was our time. And this has been a process in the making for us, but hats off to my team, and I'm just so happy for the Clemson Nation. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I know Terry Don Phillips is sitting at home. Terry Don, I'm not here without you, brother. Appreciate you. I love all the people who couldn't come here tonight because tickets are too much. They saw a heck of a game. They had a good seat at home, and man, I'm just thankful. And I know so many people were a part of this, and it's a blessing.
Coach, your story is one for the history books. Congratulations. Enjoy it with your family tonight.
Thank you.
Chris?
Indeed. Emotional, gracious, comprehensive comments from Dabo Swinney. The Ford post-game show will have much more reaction. An Alabama graduate, former national champion player in that 92 team. And these decades later, dethrones the Tide and wins a championship as a coach at Clemson. The final 2 yards of this classic. Watson to Renfro. Touchdown. Yeah, there was a pick in there. Bama fans will be hollering about that. 2 touchdowns like that tonight. Renfro, it's so fitting, Kirk. 4 touchdown receptions in the last 2 championship games. He's got 5 touchdown receptions in his playoff career. A guy like Swinney himself, considered an underdog, not big enough, not strong enough for football at this level, yet making the biggest play in the biggest stage and dethroning big bad Bama.
Rough night for Nick Saban, and what a huge, glorious night for Ben Boulware, Deshaun Watson, and the Tigers. They were on a mission. They walked off that field disappointed a year ago. That was the mission, to get back here, hope to play Alabama, and avenge last year's loss. That's exactly what they were able to do.
Won 7 games by a touchdown or less. This was their MO. This is how they got here, and it's how they finished it.
It really prepared them for this night, because they were challenged early in the game, as we talked about. And instead of going away, they showed that resiliency that they played with for most of this year. And they reminded everybody it's a 60-minute game, and they didn't quit believing.
It's a mountain climb. That's how Dabo Swinney refers to it. The higher you get, the thinner the air, the better the view, and the sweeter the taste of everything at the summit, where the Tigers find themselves on top. The Ford postgame show coming up after these messages.